Alright, so what's up, watchers? Welcome back, it's good to see you again. Uh, Sorry that we hung around on the starting soon screen for a little bit longer than usual. I had to text my parents about something. But I hope that you guys had a good week. I definitely did, but work is getting kind of insane at the moment. uh, I... Okay, so there was something funny that happened at the very end of Friday. So, around 4 o'clock-ish, pretty much all of the office admins decided, like, hey, we've caught up on all the work we have to do today. We're good until Monday. There's no sense in us sticking around. So, we're gonna go home early. And, all of us in the receiving part of the lab were like, okay, yep, sounds good. I mean, we shouldn't get anything else in, and if we do, we're just gonna be putting it in the fridge to open it on Monday anyways, so no biggie. So this woman shows up at about 4:15 and is like, oh, I'm here to pick up a bottle order. And we're like, what bottle order? So, as it turns out, there apparently this woman had messaged like the head lady at our lab and was like, hey, yeah, we want to stop by today and pick up a bunch of soil jars and stuff for sampling that we're doing on a recent project. And yeah, none of us were aware of this. So I was like, okay, I'm just going to put this together as quick as possible, because the lady was like, okay, yeah, I can totally stop by tomorrow instead. I need these for Monday. So I'm like, all right, I'll finish receiving this, like, one sample that we got before the admin ladies left, and then I have to go and run around the lab, get all of the jars and vials and stuff that we need for this order, throw it together, and, then circle back around to help out with the rest of the end-of-day stuff, and hopefully I can leave before 5. So, I bust my ass, I get everything packed and ready in a cooler. There's like 5 minutes to spare before I have to clock out. And then, one of the ladies from the bacteria section of the lab was like, hey, so, what's with this red cooler in the bacteria fridge? And we were like, what red cooler in the bacteria fridge? As it turns out, the bottle order had already been filled. None of us knew this. So, yeah, I ended up working my ass off for the last 45 minutes of my workday on Friday, only to find out that, not only was that work already done before, it had actually been done better. Like, there were more, jars and more vials and stuff in the red cooler than there were in the cooler that I packed. So I'm like, alright, okay, cool. I guess I'm just gonna throw this in a different fridge and then unpack it all on Monday. I'm over here Steinsing my gate right now. Got roots to unlock right now. Online arguments to win. I'm sad as frick, man. I'm a mad scientist, man. Awesome. We love haste makes waste. I mean, technically it's not waste. Because I can just put everything back. It's not like now we have to throw out all of the jars and vials and stuff. Like, it's gonna take some time to put it all back together. Like, put it all back in its proper spot. But, and admittedly, that does kind of suck, because tomorrow is gonna already be fucking busy. I have so much stuff. The waste is effort expended. I see. That makes sense. But, yeah, it's like, I mean, if that's the worst thing that happened in my day, I'm doing pretty good. If the worst thing that happened in my day was, oh, I spent like 40 minutes putting stuff in a cooler and then found out I didn't have to put stuff in a cooler, there are people who are going through a lot worse. But yeah, so that's kind of my ramble of the day, I guess. Before I end up getting caught up in another tangent and wasting a bunch of time, how about we jump over to the game. Also, because I didn't say it before, hello KP, hello 100th Assassin. Welcome. Just gotta boot up the game. I really do have to get better at doing this before I start the stream. Also, sorry if my voice is still a little bit messed up. So I'm not really sick anymore, which is great. I love it. The thing is, my voice is still a little bit fucked up. Which kind of sucks when you're streaming. It's specifically that I keep having to clear my throat. Like, constantly. Constantly. Okay, so last time, honestly, a lot of the scenes that we saw last time were just, repeats of ones that we saw in the bad ending. So we went to the hospital, we talked with Mayuri's friends about, Fubuki. Nah, Scuff is important. We need more streams where you're just downloading the scheduled game for the stream. Now we get to see some people have a really bad day at the lab. It's true. Delete and re-download Steins Gate each week. See, the thing is, I don't trust that would save, like, that wouldn't keep my save files, probably. And, I mean, we have already been playing for so long. But yeah, it's like a lot of the scenes that we saw last week were just repeats of ones that we've already gone through. So we had, like, Suzuha and Daru talking. The big difference is, instead of Maho being in Japan, because we've done a little time skip, we're now in summer. The biggest difference between this route and the last one is just that Maho didn't come back to Japan with Dr. Leskinen. Because Dr. Leskinen is still here and also doesn't realize that Okabe knows fucking anything about the time machine, which is great for us. I can't wait to see this whole fucking thing fall apart anyways. Because let's face it, it's gonna go bad. This isn't the true ending. Things are gonna go wrong. Just a second. Vesta. What? She's scratching at something. Oh. What are you doing? I have, like, these boxes on my shelves that are meant to be for organizing, but instead I just kind of throw random shit in all of them. Vesta's just scratching at one of them, and then staring at me, and then scratching at them again. I have no idea why. Anyways, time to play chicken with the YouTube guidelines again, because I get the strange feeling that this is gonna be a scene that I've seen already. Or that we've seen already. Delete hundreds of hours of progress for the bit. Did you mean average Yoko Taro game? Suzuha sighed as she took her shower. Since it was summer, she'd set the water temperature low. It was barely any hotter than tap water. As long as the water was pouring down on her, she could feel like all the bad memories were being washed away. She slapped her cheeks with both hands and turned off the water. The small tiled room suddenly became quiet. In the silence, she vigorously toweled off her hair. This building was never intended for anyone to live in. Not only was there very little room, there wasn't even a place to change. It was small and there were no windows, and the steam from the shower room built up, making it an unpleasant sauna in summer. Supposedly, Itaru and Okabe would sit naked next to the fans to get away from the heat and moisture. Of course, that was only when the girls, as well as Luka Urushibata, weren't around. But Suzuha couldn't do that. There were those huge scars on her chest. If she was careless and Yuki saw them, she'd have a big problem. So she always forced herself to change within this small space. Yep. Do I have a thing that I can pull up on screen just in case? That's not it. That's the freak. What is this? Oh, no. No, that's... I really need to label things better. Okay, we do have this. So I guess if anything shows on screen, I can always just, spring our jorts back into Jance. The second she left the shower room, she realized something was wrong. So I don't know if this is just gonna be the exact same scene again. Let me try and skip. Okay, it's not letting me, so... I mean, maybe it's because we started off from a save from before we saw all of this. Which would suck. Because it's like, if I knew for certain that nothing was different, like if the skip function was just going through all of this, then I'd feel a lot more comfortable just skipping through scenes we'd already seen before for time's sake. But it's like, if I don't know, then I'm not gonna skip through shit that we might not have seen yet. She was sure she had left all the lab lights on when she'd gone to take a shower. She didn't remember turning them off. Still completely naked, she flung open the curtain. She dropped to the floor, ready to move. She could tell by the light from the shower room that there was no one else there. She didn't hear any breathing, and she didn't feel any other presence. And then when he'd left, he turned off the lights? No, that couldn't be right. She looked around the room and saw that things had been moved in a way that an amateur wouldn't be able to notice. Itaru's computer desk, the sofa area, the bookshelves, even the mini-kitchen. Someone had gone through them all. From the look of it, the same was probably true of the development room. Suzuha glanced over all the areas where she kept her guns. The closest was the sofa that she used as a bed. She wanted to have one easily available if she was attacked while she'd slept, so she had cut out the back of one of the sofa cushions and hidden a suppressed semi-automatic pistol in it. It was just a .32 caliber for self-defense, so it wouldn't do much damage unless you had good aim. But it was small and relatively quiet, which made it the best choice for a place like this. Suzuha tensed all of her muscles, coiling like a spring, and slowly moved towards the sofa without making a sound. As she did, she tried to notice any changes in the surrounding area. There was a small sound in the development room. It was a tiny, tiny creaking of the floor, to which you'd usually pay no mind. But that was more than enough for Suzuha. In an instant, she... What the fuck, Vesta? What? Vesta's just knocking over stuff now. Come on. Vesta, get down from there. Come on. Come on. Good girl. Alright, there we go. In an instant, she moved from quiet to action. She cleared the distance to the sofa in a single moment and quickly drew her gun. She held it ready and slipped into the shadow of the refrigerator. Oh, okay, no, this is different, isn't this? Because last time Kagari found the gun, didn't she? Because I could have sworn last time we saw this scene, like... Oh, no, it's that... The ammo was removed, wasn't it? Am I just misremembering? Am I insane, chat? There was something with the gun. With the last time we saw this scene. From this position, she could barely see into the development room. The room became silent again, but this time the intruder in the other room didn't try to hide their presence. Suzuha threatened the intruder in a low voice, but the intruder seemed completely unconcerned as they exposed themselves to Suzuha's gaze. The intruder was wearing a motorcycle suit, just like before. Even the helmet was the same. The leather suit clung tightly to their skin, revealing a voluptuous and perfectly proportioned body. It was clearly a woman.
あんたが探してるものだけどね。そこにはないよ。私の服のポケットだ。
Suzuha pointed towards the entrance to the shower room. The shirt she'd just taken off was lying there on the floor. The girl in the motorcycle suit turned her head, but because the face mask was down, Suzuha couldn't read her expression.
なあ、落としたらダメじゃないか。ママからもらった大切なものだろ。
The gun was actually chocolate last time. Yeah, it's like that game show where they put people in a room and are like, hey, figure out what in this room is made of chocolate. You can only use your mouth. I need to actually, like, I don't know, at least watch clips from that show. I've only seen GIFs of it. But it looks really funny.
Kagari.
The second she spoke, Kagari Shina was the first to move. She drew a deglossed military knife that she must have been hiding behind her back, and closed the gap between herself and Suzuha in an instant. Suzuha pointed the gun at her legs and pulled the trigger, carefully aiming away from her vitals. Oh, it actually worked! Okay! She heard the small pop of a suppressed 32 and saw Kagari lose her balance and fall. See, I could have sworn that the gun didn't work last time, so this is different. Okay. Or she thought she did, but it was a feint. She'd only pretended to lose her balance. In fact, she'd changed directions and was heading for the shower room. It seemed her first goal was to get what she'd come for. After firing only one shot, Suzuha realized even a 32 should have more recoil than this. Ah, there it is. Okay, yep. She fired again, but Kagari didn't flinch even for a moment. Okay, yeah, this is the same as last time. At some point, all the bullets in Suzuha's gun had been swapped with blanks. That instant's panic was all it took. Kagari reached out for the shirt on the floor in front of the shower room. She's from the water company. Her main goal was to raise your water bill. Suzuha gave up on firing and flung the gun at Kagari. There was a dull thud as the hard barrel slammed into her neck. Caught off balance, she staggered before she could grab the shirt. She could hear Kagari's voice for the first time from within the helmet. Suzuha jumped. She kicked the off-balance Kagari as hard as she could with her toned, muscled legs. This was no time to hold back. Kagari went flying all the way to the edge of the room. That had to have broken a few ribs. Suzuha jumped towards her to continue her attack. But with terrifying speed, Kagari leapt off the ground and charged at Suzuha. There wasn't enough time to come to a full stop. A sharp blade swept by mere centimeters from her exposed abdomen. If she'd pulled back even a few tenths of a second later, the knife would have fatally sliced open her gut. The blood rushed to Suzuha's head. Kagari was serious. She was planning to kill her. There was no hesitation in her movements. Suzuha leaped back and searched for something she could use as a weapon, but the other guns were probably no different. There was a good chance they'd all had their ammo swapped with blanks, too. It was even possible that all her self-defense knives had been taken, too. Which left? There were several knives carefully stored in the kitchen. Yuki had brought them over to use in teaching the other girls how to cook. But Kagari had evidently noticed them as well, and she was moving to keep Suzuha from reaching them. Suzuha kept her distance from Kagari as she slowly moved along the wall. Her competitive drive burned even brighter as she tried to come up with a way to overcome her disadvantage.
ほら、かがり、これだろ?
She picked up her shirt from in front of the shower room and took the green keychain out of its pockets.
どうした? 取りに来なよ.
Her fingers moved as if to crush it. She could see Kagari twitch. For the first time, she could detect a hint of emotion beyond the helmet. And in an instant, she threw it at Kagari's stomach. The keychain flew in a slow arc, like she was tossing it to a friend. If something they loved was thrown like that, even the fiercest warrior would instinctively reach out both hands to grab it. Kagari was no exception. She carefully held her mother's memento in her empty left hand, and the right hand that still clutched the knife. Using the slow arc of the keychain as camouflage, Suzuha ran at her in a straight line. Her right fist connected hard with Kagari's stomach. Then her left arm smashed Kagari's head to the side. Kagari's body fell to the ground, her right shoulder taking the brunt of the fall. Suzuha could hear the sound of her joint dislocating. The knife slipped from her grasp. Suzuha got behind her and mounted her, twisting her right arm mercilessly. I think I will, just to be safe. You know what? We will use the freak. Because if we just... There. That's what would cause us problems, probably. Thirsty Golem! Yeah, it is kind of a bad picture to use as a censor now that I think about it. It does make this look way worse. Oh, well, whatever. Okay, and now it doesn't work. Okay. Let's just, come on. Fuck. Ah! OBS, work with me here! There. Oh, that... Yeah, that... I feel like that doesn't help that much, but... This is why I use Yu-Gi-Oh cards for censorship. Honestly, not a bad idea. Let me see if I can find a better picture to replace this with real quick. Let me see. I'm trying to find something good. Here, this. Oh god, now I have to do this again! No! I didn't think this through! There we go. It's... At least it's not Thirsty Golem. Okay. Suzuha got behind her and mounted her, twisting her right arm mercilessly. At the same time, she slipped her own left arm around Kagari's neck and squeezed hard. She could hear something like a moan from Kagari's throat. She could both hear and feel the bones in her arm and neck creaking. Stop moving the CG around! I keep having to move my censorship bars! But Kagari picked up the knife on the floor with her left hand and once again tried to use it on Suzuha. Suzuha was forced to squeeze her arm and neck even harder. Okay, well this isn't helping! Fine, we'll just block the chest. Hopefully, hopefully the CG will stay put this time. But Kagari didn't stop. If anything, she tried even harder to pull Suzuha away. Stop moving. Ah! Every time I finally get it in the right spot. You don't remember this from the anime? I haven't seen the anime. I don't know what all is in it. But, hi, Yato Genesis. Welcome to the stream. I don't know if I've seen you before, but then again, I also have the memory of a fucking goldfish. So, I'm sorry if you're here before and if you were here before and I just don't recognize you. You haven't. Okay, cool. Cool. Even in all the battles she'd been in, this much pressure on 2 different spots was enough to get even the toughest soldier to submit or fall unconscious. Terrified, Suzuha squeezed even harder. At this rate, she wouldn't simply knock her out. She really would kill Kagari. But if she stopped, Kagari would kill her. What should she do? Can I... Fucking... Keep the CG still! I just came in, what do you mean 2 spots? Basically, Suzuha has Kagari in, like, a chokehold, and is also twisting her arm behind Kagari's back. That's what she's saying. It's like, yeah, normally if you do this to someone, they fold pretty quick. And Kagari just isn't fucking stopping. And then she heard a sad, weak voice from inside the helmet. It startled her. And... Please! I'm trying to not get in trouble with the algorithm! Please! It startled her, and she relaxed both of her arms. But that was just what Kagari had hoped for. The knife came very close to cutting Suzuha's left arm. When she let go to dodge it, Kagari shook her off and kicked at her hips with both legs. Suzuha was slammed back hard into the computer desk, and for a moment she couldn't breathe. She fell to the floor, and the printer and monitor crashed mercilessly into her naked body. She forced herself to stand up, gasping hard as she did so. Kagari's breathing was heavy, too. Her right arm was pointed in an impossible direction and hanging limp. She wouldn't be able to use it for a while, probably. But her left arm was still holding the knife. Suzuha glared at Kagari's face, not that she could see what it looked like behind that helmet. The 2 of them fell silent as they tried to catch their breath. The tension in the air was so thick that it was difficult to move a muscle. Sweat rolled down her forehead into her eyes, but she still didn't blink as she waited for Kagari to make her next move. It was the sound of the front door opening that broke their stalemate. Suzuha felt a chill run down her spine when she heard Itaru's voice. She yelled at the exact same instant he turned on the lights. The sudden brightness was enough to make Suzuha flinch for an instant. Kagari was wearing a full-faced helmet, and that made all the difference. She leapt towards Itaru just a moment before Suzuha. Kagari's black knife went up to his throat. Kagari spun around behind him, using Itaru's huge body as a shield. Suzuha staggered toward him, gritting her teeth.
父さん、傷一つでも負わせてみろ。たとえお前でも本当に殺す。
But Kagurima remained silent as she headed outside the door with her hostage. And then in the next moment, she shoved him forward. Itaru lost his balance and fell toward Suzuha. Suzuha fell to the ground underneath his weight. Itaru just barely managed to support himself with his arms and legs to keep from crushing her. Suzuha tried to shove him off using a little more force than she may have intended, but Itaru was so huge it would take him a moment to get up. She was getting away. She somehow managed to crawl out from under him and quickly tried to follow after Kaguri. Itaru was still lying on the ground as he tossed the naked Suzuha her shirt. She grabbed it and quickly put it on, then ran outside. But when she looked around the street, the girl in the motorcycle leathers wasn't there. There was no way to even know where she'd gone. So as far as I can tell, that is identical to the version of this scene that we saw in the bad ending timeline, so. Damn. It must be just that I went to a previous save, so that's why I can't skip. Which kind of sucks, because like I said, I would like to know if the scene is, like, just a repeat of something I've already seen before or not, before I start trying to skip it. Oh well. It would be dangerous to run around trying to find her now. If anything, I guess it's kind of a good thing, because it'll make each of these endings seem more like its own narrative instead of just, oh, here's like a couple little scenes that we didn't see the last time. And, I mean, to be fair, whenever we go back to do the other endings, because I believe we already got Kaguri's. I do this every time. I'm like, I don't remember what we got. I don't remember what endings we've already gotten. Okay, so yeah, we got the Kaguri ending, we got the bad ending. So, whenever we go back to do the Kurisu ending and the Maho ending, we're probably gonna have to revisit those scenes anyways, like the ones that we saw in the Kaguri ending. Just because it's been so fucking long at this point that I do not remember. I have the memory of a goldfish. There was a chance Itaru would be attacked while she wasn't at the lab. Itaru came outside as well. Work on that and develop the memory of a platinum fish. You know what? That sounds like a feasible goal that I can work towards. I may never have a great memory, but I can at least have a better one than the one that I've already got. Mostly because that's not a high bar to clear. The bruises and wounds were bad enough, but the pain that ached in her heart was the worst of all. I think the memory thing especially isn't helped today because right before stream I woke up from a nap and I've had brain fog ever since. I really have to stop napping on the weekends, but it's just I lie on the couch and I'm playing Pokerogue on my laptop, and then I get a little sleepy and I'm like, oh, I'll set a timer for like 20 minutes and then I'll be fine. And then 20 minutes turns into an hour and a half every single time. Naps are a privilege and I don't deserve it. I keep misusing my privilege to take naps, and then I sleep like shit during the week. It sucks. It sucks. I need to stop doing it. But couch is so comfy.
私もそんなあの子にいろいろなことを教えた。きっと妹みたいに思ってた。けどあいつはもう完全に敵だ。
Itaru straightened up her shirt sleeves.
今の鈴葉、なんかエロゲーの地上キャラっぽい格好になってる。
Once again, not the time for this, Daru. Suzuha was caught completely off guard. True, her t-shirt only came down to just below her hips, roughly the length of a miniskirt. Her breasts were almost completely bared. The shirt's hem was turned up and she felt exposed.
まあ僕は地上物も結構いける口なんで、乱れた裸 T シャツというのもありといえばありですが、むふ。
Again! Things you should not say about your daughter.
またそうやってふざける。大怪我してたかもしれないのに。
I am reading peak fiction. Hello, Indigo. Welcome to the stream. I don't think I've seen you in chat recently either. So welcome. Is Okabe even in this scene to be mentioning all of that? But Itaru shook his head.
僕さ、さっきはナイフ見て騒いじゃったけど、でも怖がる必要なかったんじゃないかなって。あれがもし僕の聞き間違いじゃなかったら。
It's got on my feed, so I clicked. Hell yeah. I mean, I'm taking this as a sign that my censoring during the fight scene earlier actually worked. If the algorithm's, like, actually suggesting my stream to people. Unless the CG didn't even matter and I was just getting freaked out over nothing, which, very possible. Then again, not even the people at YouTube know how the YouTube algorithm works, so, like, who knows? Who knows? Is this after that Suzuha CG? Yes. It's the fight where she's naked. This is actually the second time that we've seen this. So I've already gone through the Kagari ending, the bad ending, or at least what the Steam guide I'm looking at just refers to as the bad ending. And now we're going for the Mayuri ending. The thing is, I can't skip scenes, like the skip function just isn't working at the moment because I went to a previous save. So, for the sake of not missing anything that might have changed, I'm just reviewing pretty much all of the scenes, basically. Like the sandworm, you must stream without algorithm. I feel like that's a reference that I'm not getting. Sorry, 100th Assassin.
ナイフを突きつけられてた時、ほんの少しだけど聞こえたんだよ。
何が?
It's Dune? Oh, I need to both watch those movies and also read the books. Like, I've heard that the Dune books are really good. The issue is that I'm still trying to get to read through all of Discworld. I have just barely gotten back into it. Hi, I have Iron. Welcome back. Welcome to the stream. It's nice to see you in chat again. Have you done Kurisu's End as well? Not yet. So, originally, whenever I played through normally, like not trying to get any specific endings, I got Kagari's. Then I was like, okay, let's do the bad end next. Thinking that it was gonna be like, just really quick and simple, and then it was like 5 streams. Although the fact that I keep pausing to go on tangents doesn't help matters. But yeah, so, went through the bad ending, and now, I figured Mayuri's ending is just one small change, like one small decision that you make different, like, right where the bad end converges into the Mayuri route. I'm explaining this super fucking badly. Basically, I figured we were already closest to the Mayuri ending, so we're going for that one next.
彼女多分泣いてた。
え？
Crying? Under that helmet? After that whole battle with Suzuha? While holding a knife to Itaru's neck? To speedrun your Discworld reading, here's a spoiler for every book. Every book ends at the end. I think that's a spoiler for every book in existence, but thank you. But why?
だからさ、決めつけるのはまだ早いんじゃね？
父さん。
ん？
アイス買ってきてくれた？バニラ。
ああ、もちろん。
食べたいな。私ちょっと疲れちゃった。
And then she almost fell forward.
で、
Itaru managed to catch her before she hit the ground.
おい、鈴葉。
ごめん。平気。でも少しだけ休ませて。
Thankfully, Dara was a perverted gentleman. Yeah, I mean, heavy emphasis on the perverted, but... That was all she had the energy to say. She closed her eyes in her dad's arms, and her consciousness melted away. Back to this guy! When July came, the sun shone down even harder on eastern Japan. Summer was truly here. The news had been saying for days that the heat island effect might make this the hottest summer in years. And then, on the first Sunday in July... The arrivals lobby at the international terminal of Narita Airport was filled with foreigners and Japanese passengers returning home.
すごい人だね。どんどん増えてるかも。日曜日の空港を侮ってたにゃ。
Do you plan on reading Chaos Head Noah after Steins Gate Zero? I do want to go through, like, Chaos Head and Chaos Child. I don't think it's gonna be the next thing right after this. I have brought this up on my last stream of this, actually, but I'm pretty sure the thing I'm gonna be doing next is circling back to Lobotomy Corporation, because I was partway through the game, like, not that deep into it, but, it's like I started playing it on stream a couple years back when I had more time to do it. And, unfortunately, just because of the way that life has gone, I don't have as much time to stream anymore, and I had to put LobCorp on hold. And I have not played that game since I stopped streaming it, and that's like one of my favorite games of all time. I haven't touched it since, because I am terrified that I'm going to fuck up the save somehow if I try to, like, back it up somewhere. And I don't want to make progress on a save that I'm working on stream. Like, whenever I'm not streaming it. Like, unless it's just mindless grinding, I don't want to do that. So, we're probably going to be circling back to LobCorp for a little bit. I don't think we're going to be completing the game. Good news. Due to Spaghetti Code, there is a non-zero chance the save data might be borked. Damn it. I mean, if that is the case, then I'll find something else. I've got a few other games that I really want to play. I was actually going through... because I have a little document where sometimes I'll just write the titles of games that I might want to play at some point. And there were a couple really small RPG Maker horror titles that I I'm very interested to check them out because, I mean, whenever I feel like I've brought this up before, but for a long time, even before I started this channel, I had the idea of doing, like, indie horror Let's Plays and stuff. No face cam or anything, just me playing through different games. And my focus was gonna be on RPG horror games. And then I just, like, didn't have the motivation to do it until eventually I learned about VTubing and was like, ooh, oh, cool. I can make a cute anime girl profile or avatar and just stream like that. Hell yeah. But yeah, this is a big ramble to say that, yeah, whatever we play next is not going to be a long-ass visual novel. Understood, you're gonna become the only exclusive Mogeko Castle streamer. I don't know about that one. I don't know about Mogeko Castle, to be honest. Perverted schmerverted. This is not a dismissal of his perversion. I just assumed Daughter would spell it as schmervert. Chaos Head is very good, but your enjoyment of it depends on how much you'll tolerate the main character. I mean, considering that I had Punchachuni made during my first playthrough of the first Steins Gate. Let me actually pull up Punchachuni because, yeah, I got my friend Valerie Valkyrie to make this for me. I'll be honest, to me, visual novels having very punchable protagonists is part of the charm. Anyways, I have gone off on a tangent once again, so...
見逃すなよ、マユリ、フェリス。なんせ相手はとにかくちっちゃいからな。
Finally back. Did you get the Haagen-Dazs ice cream and did you like it? I did not. I'll be honest, completely forgot about it until you brought it up just now. So I got messages. Sorry, I can't go today. I think this is a good answer. You had something to do, it's alright. I hope I can see Maho before she leaves. I'll ask her how long she's staying and contact you later. Thank you! Okay, cool. No worries, the punchable protag is relatable, though. Yeah, it's like, I mean, I also played through AI the Somnium Files, and Date is very punchable in that game, too. It's... You can choose how long the message you send will be? I mean, you can just choose which message you're gonna send. You usually get about 3 different options. I don't think it has any bearing on what ending you get. It's kind of just for fun. The 3 of us were waiting for someone here. We'd been there almost an hour. I didn't know this and I finished this VN. That's completely fair. It's very easy to miss.
冗談だ。やめてくれ。
でもなかなか来ないね。やっぱりサプライズでこっそり出迎えようとしたのが間違いだったのかにゃ。
せめて何時の便で到着するのかぐらいは聞いておくべきだったな。
Yeah, that would have helped. We hadn't told her that we were coming to greet her. And so all we knew was that she was arriving at Narita on an afternoon flight. If I'd known we were going to have to wait so long, I would have tried to get the arrival time out of her. There was a stream of passengers flowing by us, but no sign of the person we were waiting for. I always find it funny how Ferris has her Steins Gate sprite here. Yeah, also, earlier on, whenever Mayuri's in her school clothes, like, it's kind of weird going back to the first game's sprites, which were a lot more, like, painterly than these ones. Like, it really stood out. It's also, like, half the time that Kurisu shows up in, like, flashbacks, it's also her Steins Gate art. It definitely doesn't fit in. Like, I understand the want to reuse assets because visual novels have a fuck ton of art in them already. It's like, if you've already paid the artist for some sprites and stuff, might as well use them, but it's like, it does make me wonder why the art style even changed from the first game to the second. Like, I get maybe not being able to get the same artist, but, like, why change the style enough that the old sprites stand out compared to the new ones? There was a stream of passengers flowing by us, but no sign of the person we were waiting for. Just as I was starting to wonder if we'd missed her because she was so small, she finally appeared. Or more precisely, I saw a giant travel suitcase rolling all by itself away from the gate. And from behind it, I heard a voice I recognized. Steins Gate Zero released like 6 years after Steins Gate, so there's a chance the artists for Steins Gate dipped or something. I mean, yes, absolutely, that's totally possible, but it's like... I don't know, maybe it was just that the new artist just couldn't replicate the old style. From behind it, I heard a voice I recognized.
パスポートの偽造なんかしてないわ。なんなのよ。毎回どの国へ行ってもいちいち調べられて時間がかかって仕方ないわ。
I walked up to the suitcase and gave it a pat.
Yeah, Joe-san.
Daru had aura in Steins Gate, but in Steins Gate Zero, he looks kind of funny. You're not wrong.
Huh?
She has hair down to her hips, trying to crouch walk behind a suitcase will get tangled in the wheels. Oh, that is... That's not a sensation I wanted to think about right now. Oh god, the idea of having your hair caught in wheels. Like, I've gotten my hair caught in a lot of things because I tried having short hair once in middle school. It looked fucking stupid. So ever since then, it's like, okay, I need long hair. Like, I had long hair up until that point, and after I cut it all off, I was like, okay, nope, we're never doing this again. I have to grow it out. So it's like, I've gotten my hair caught in a lot of things. Car doors are the worst, surprisingly. Like, if there's any kind of wind, my hair will get caught in the fucking car door, and it sucks. But, oh, the idea of getting it caught in suitcase wheels. He also kept his old Steins Gate sprite for the future Steins Gate reboot for some reason, while everyone else got new designs and art styles. Huh. That is kind of weird. Like, huh. Yeah, I can't even think of a reason for why some sprites are kept and some of them are completely changed. It just, yeah, it feels weird. It's like, for proof, you can check the trailer for it. Yeah, I actually haven't checked the trailer for the Steins Gate reboot yet. I should do that at some point. Maho had been leaning forward and pushing the suitcase as hard as she could. Her mouth hung open when she saw me.
久しぶり。無事入国できてよかったな。
あなた。
なんか随分やつれてるな。大丈夫か？
大丈夫に決まって。ってそうじゃないわ。どうしてここに？
今日の昼に来るって話してただろ。だから驚かせようと思って迎えに来たんだ。
そうなの？それはどうも。
For some reason, her voice became really weird the moment she saw me. Was my being here really that much of a surprise?
でも秋葉原駅までは行けるから、改札口に迎えに来てくれればいいって言っておいたのに。
まあいいじゃないか。せっかくだし。それに君一人で本当に秋葉まで来られるか心配だったから。
So I'm just wondering, because, I mean, in the bad ending, obviously, like, Leskinen used the brain fucking device and was basically using Maho to get information out of Okabe. It kind of makes me wonder if a similar thing is gonna happen now, but I don't remember this scene happening the last time. But then again, I could also just be wrong about that. But yeah, I'm kind of wondering, like, how this is gonna play out. Like, I'm assuming without the connection to Amadeus, we're safe, but I don't know. Still a little bit suspicious.
失礼ね。私はそんなに頼りなくないわ。
Mayuri and Ferris came up as well. She only gets brainwashed in Gehenna's stigma. Sorry if that's a spoil. All good, no worries. But, that is interesting to know. I thought she was gonna do it back! As Mayuri grabbed Maho's hand, Ferris walked up and gave her a big hug.
マユリさんもフェイリスさんもお久しぶり。二人もわざわざ迎えに来てくれたのね。ありがとう。
Her brain only bathes once a game. How unsanitary. Remember to take your brain out of your skull and give it a good scrubbing every once in a while.
ちなみにこんな場所で大声でマホニャンと呼ぶのはやめてくれないかしら。なんで？可愛いのに。周りを見なさい。みんなが笑っているでしょ。恥ずかしいのよ。にゃ、そうかにゃ。
Ferris really sticks out after all. While we'd been waiting here, all the foreigners had been pointing at her, yelling, "Cat ears! Cat ears!" Someone even asked for pictures.
ヤジョさん、荷物俺が持とう。
In the English dub, how do you wash your brain?
あ、ありがとう。
でも結構急な来日だったよな。
It was only a few days ago that I'd found out she was coming.
今回もレスキネン教授の手伝いなのか？
その。
Maho was fidgeting and glancing up at me.
岡部さんはレスキネン教授とはよく連絡を取り合っているの？
ああ、教授ずっとこっちで研究を続けてるだろ。時々食事に誘ってもらったりしてるんだ。すごく光栄だよ。
Once again, lines where I'd be like, "Ah, yeah, Leskinen's a cool guy. If it wasn't for the last route."
そう。まずいわね。
まずい？何が？
ああ、いえ、こっちの話よ。
Okay, so maybe in this timeline she's trying to, like, circumvent Dr. Leskinen in some way? Like she might be trying to stop what he's doing? Dinner with another fellow intellectual is not dinner without Dr. Pepper. She really was acting weird. She wasn't like this when I saw her last winter. Was she tired from her trip? Or was seeing us here that much of a surprise?
今回は教授の手伝いではないの。沖縄の親類のところへ行く予定なのよ。でもせっかくだからその前に秋葉原にも寄ってみようかと思って。
そうか、沖縄か。
For a moment, the name of that place brought back visions of that nightmarish time. After I collapsed on Christmas, I was sent to another world line where I'd spent a month fleeing to Okinawa.
いいね沖縄。一度でいいから行ってみたいな。マユシーの学校は修学旅行は沖縄じゃないのな。マユシーのところはね、北海道だったよ。フェイリスはハワイにゃ。
Did you?
海外だ。アロハ。
Aloha! So cute! Putting aside the girls and their talk of school trips.
じゃあヒヤジョ
Is,
さんは
is that just normal?
東京には
Is that just normal for Japanese schools to take trips to Hawaii? Fuck, the longest trip I ever took was just to Quebec. And that's not that far away from me. I mean, granted, the bus trip was still a few hours, and we did stay overnight. That's why it was like the longest trip that I ever had, and it's like the one that was farthest away from me, but still, like, Hawaii's a little bit different. Usually is an end-of-year trip for big city schools. Actually, you know what? Yeah, that makes sense, because Ferris is like super fucking rich. Of course she'd be able to go to a fucking school trip in Hawaii. Of course her school, she would go to a school that would send the kids on a trip to Hawaii.
そうね、そういうことになるわね。秋葉原にいる間のホテルとかは決めてあるのかにゃ。まだよ。これから安いビジネスホテルでも探すつもり。だったらこのままフェイリスのお家に来るといいにゃ。この前のお部屋自由に使ってもらって構わないにゃ。え、でもそんなの悪いわ。またそうやって遠慮するんやから。フェイリスは大変なんだにゃ。
Don't worry about it. God, what a good line.
だけどそんなに甘えるわけには。だったらこれでどうかにゃ。お部屋を無償で貸し出す代わりにフェイリスのお店でほんのちょっとだけお手伝いしてもらうのにゃ。
You're roping her in to work at the maid cafe?
お店？
Ferris is a national treasure, a lady that adds nya to the end of her sentences without shame. It's true, it's true.
メイクインニャンニャンだね。
Make Maho wear the cat maid uniform.
まさかそれってあの猫耳のお店？その通りにゃ。この時期は猫耳メイドのみんなはコミマの準備でいろいろ忙しいのにゃ。お休み取りたいって泣きついてくるんだにゃ。
That is true. This is around the time that Kamima would be happening.
つまり深刻な猫耳メイド不足なのにゃ。なのにゃ。
Thanks, my Yuri.
いうわけでマフニャンどうかにゃ。どうかにゃ。
Peer pressure in action.
お断りします。
Yeah, that's fair.
なんで？なんでって当たり前でしょ。私に似合うわけないわ。似合うよ。絶対に可愛いと思うな、マユシーは。意義なしだにゃ。オカリンもそう思うにゃ。
ああ、きっとファンがつくんじゃないか。
Peer pressure, peer pressure, peer pressure.
ファンなんてそんなお世辞は嫌いよ。
別にお世辞じゃないんだけどな。
だとしたら視力検査にでも行ってくることね。 にゃ。赤くなったにゃ。
なってません。
マホニャンはもっと自分の魅力に気づくべきだと思うにゃ。
マユシーが男の子だったらキュンってしちゃうのです。だからそんなことないと言ってるのに。
ヒアジョーさんは多分もうちょっとなんというかおしゃれとかしてみたらいいんじゃないかな。
Not a great thing to say to a girl, Okabe.
そうすればもっとこう
I was trying my best to sound encouraging, but just ended up sounding like a real jerk. Of course, she was annoyed.
私は今のままで十分よ。研究が第一なんだから。
でもそれじゃあ好きな人とかできたらどうするのにゃ。相手に気持ちを伝えられなくて困っちゃうにゃ。
There are many things to say to girls. That was not one of them. Flat as justice or something like that.
大丈夫よ。そういう人なんてできないと思うから困ったりしないわ。
She gave a sigh that was a little too deliberate.
ごめんなさい。時差ボケと飛行機の疲れでちょっと。
わかるにゃ。時差ボケって結構辛いんだにゃ。リムジンを用意してあるからマフニャンは眠っていくといいにゃ。
リムジン？
Ferris is going all out. Ferris had rented a white limo to pick up Maho. Sheesh, she really did go overboard. But thanks to that, Mayuri and I were able to enjoy its big comfy seats on the way to Narita Airport.
なんならフェイリスが膝枕してあげるにゃ。それともマユシーの膝がいいかにゃ。
マユシーはオッケーだよ。結構よ。
She
じゃある
really,
まいし。
she really is just doing whatever. Honestly, a lot of respect for Ferris. She's out here role-playing as a cat girl in her day-to-day life. She's hiring limos for people that she, like, barely even knows, and trying to peer pressure them into working at her cat-made cafe. You know, it's like this is the life that I would love to live. She does, she has her priorities straight.
でも傍目から見てもだいぶ疲れてるってわかるな。そんなに研究が忙しいのか。
それはまあ掛け持ちしているわけだから。
掛け持ちというとアマデウス以外にも何かやっているのか。
She quickly put her hand over her mouth.
それは企業秘密なの。
Yeah, because that project is not something you want Okabe finding out about.
そうか。それは悪かった。
Her cafe is a non-profit meant to raise money for Catman awareness. They're not endangered or anything, she just thinks they're neat. It was true that American university labs had a lot of stuff like that going on there. I'd heard there were a lot of industrial spies. If she wasn't careful about what she said, she might get fired, or worse. It was a mistake on my part to even ask.
そういえば橋田さんは今日はどうしたの？
あいつなら今日は人生をかけた大事な用があってな。
Oh? And that is?
人生をかけた？
ダルくんは今
デート中なんだよ。
I see. I hope it doesn't go as bad as it did last time. Maho's shock was almost comical.
私本当に疲れているのね。ひどい幻聴を聞いたわ。
いや、そう思うのも無理ないが。
本当にデートなのです。信じられない。嘘でしょ。あの変態が。
Doing Daru so dirty. It's not that he doesn't deserve it, but still. Even Maho was calling him a pervert. Daru had said he was talking to Maho a lot too, and I could just imagine what their conversations were like. But actually, if Daru didn't do his best today, it would ruin the world's entire chain of causality. The fate of the world depends on this fucking pervert of a nerd having a successful date with a cute girl. In that sense, Daru's date today was an event with universe-spanning implications. What I also found funny is Convergence giving Daru of all people a happy married life and makes everyone else single! Yeah, that's true, because, I mean, in the first Steins Gate, like, we haven't heard anything about any of the other characters getting together with anybody. Daru's the only one confirmed married! Truly a power move. About half the seats at Go-Go Curry were full. It was Sunday, but it was also after 2 p.m., and so the lunchtime rush was over. Suzuha was sitting at the restaurant's far edge, a baseball cap pulled down over her face. Okay, yes, but that was a bad end. Like, that's the operative words there. Like, that only happened in, like, one timeline. Daru being married seems to be, like, a fucking canon event. Shit, I didn't mean to do that. There we go. She was hiding her face with the cap and carefully watching a couple sitting nearby. A cheerful employee put down 2 giant silver plates, or trays more accurately, in front of them. Suzuha could see the other customers looking at them and whispering. The couple really stood out after all. The man was a giant who looked like he ate major curry all the time, but the woman was slim, pretty, and looked very kind. The combination of huge man and slim woman was as unbalanced as the combination of pretty girl and major curry. Even if Daru didn't do anything, he would still be a magnet to Yuki, which is funny. It's true. It's like, I don't know what you see in him, but if you're happy, I guess I can't judge? Question mark? The major curry was big. It was huge. Suzuha knew from experience. The massive silver trays were loaded with rice and curry, and topped with 2 fried cutlets, fried shrimp, sausage, a boiled egg, and a mountain of cabbage. This description makes me hungry every fucking time. That sounds so good. I could do without the shrimp, but the rest of it, that sounds fucking awesome. I want it. There was 2 or 3 times as much curry as you'd find in a normal dish, and the toppings were just as big. Even a growing young boy would find it hard to eat them all. I know, she's gonna be like, why did you order this on a date? Suzuha was irritated. Yeah, I think this is gonna be the same as last time. The Beauty and the Beast couple that Suzuha was watching, of course, was Itaru and Yuki. In the morning, they'd gone to see a movie in Yurakucho. Then they'd come to Akihabara and gone straight to Go-Go Curry. Suzuha had followed them the whole time. That's why she couldn't believe Itaru's choice of date spots.
私はゴーゴーカレーでも全く問題ないけど、というかむしろ好きな方だけど。せっかくの初デートなんだから、もうちょっと他に選択肢もあるだろう。
She clutched her spoon tight and gritted her teeth. Suzuha knew next to nothing about Japanese youth culture in 2011, and even she knew it was a bad idea. Who knew what was going through Yuki's mind? Or so Suzuha thought. But...
うわー、写真よりもすごいですね。
Surprisingly, Yuki was ignoring the people around her and innocently enjoying the huge curry.
あまねし、もし食べきれなかったら、僕が食べてあげるですから。
はい、ありがとうございます。けどこれでも私結構いけるんですよ。
そうですか。びっくりです。
実はいつもお店の外でメニューだけ見てて一度食べてみたかったんですよね。連れてきてもらえて嬉しいです。
それは実に良かったです。
お
Suzuha had evidently worried over nothing, but still, she realized that Itsuri was acting strangely. Ever since he'd come out of the movie theater, he was walking and talking strangely. Instead of his usual hunched posture, he was forcing himself to stand up straight. His every movement seemed oddly forced, as if he were a broken robot. And he downed glass after glass of water. Okay, so it's going just as badly as it did last time, I see.
私にもお水のおかわりを。
はい、どうぞ。
ありがとうございます。
Itsuru poured water into Yuki's cup. Suzuha had a bad feeling. And she was right. Itsuru was moving so awkwardly that he almost spilled water on her hand.
大丈夫ですか？
ええ、ちょっと手が濡れただけですから。それより早く食べましょう。
He does look a little jacked. Yuki quickly wiped down the table with her handkerchief and grabbed her fork and spoon. There were stars in her eyes.
それじゃあいただきます。
いただきます。
Yuki seemed to be really enjoying her meal, but Itsuru was very formal and quiet. He was taking little nibbles out of a piece of fried cutlet, like a squirrel eating a nut. The whole time, they weren't saying a word.
一体何をやってるんだ父さんは。あんなんじゃ母さんに愛想つかされちゃうよ。
In Robotics Note CG, his forearms look absolutely jacked for no reason. Awesome. She decided to send him a message on Ryan telling him to get his act together, and she'd just taken her phone out when...
はい、メジャーカレールーマシーお待たせしました。
A huge plate was laid on the table in front of her. The other customers started murmuring again. Come to think of it, when she'd followed them into the store, she'd ordered her usual major curry with extra roux, and then forgotten about it. Now everybody was going to focus on her. In a small shop like this, it was suicide.
あら？
Just as she expected, her eyes met Yuki's.
鈴葉さん、いたんですか？
Curry-based deja vu.
偶然だね、ゆきさん、兄さん。声かけてくれればよかったのに。いや、気がつかなかったんだよ、全然。
She realized that she should probably leave, but she couldn't go without at least taking a bite of the major curry in front of her. Her experiences in the war had left her completely unable to waste food. She felt Yuki and Itsuru staring at her as she reluctantly picked up her spoon.
とまあ、そういうことなんで、二人ともごゆっくり。
Her only choice was to finish her extra-large curry as soon as possible. She couldn't let herself be in the way. But instead, Yuki came over and picked up Suzuha's plate.
すみません、店員さん。お友達なんですけど、席を移ってもいいでしょうか？
はい、どうぞ。
OK ですって。一緒に食べましょうよ。ちょっと、なんでって、ほら、鈴葉さんもメジャーカレーじゃないですか。これは ぜひ勝負せねばと思って。はあ？審判は橋田さんにやってもらいましょう。
And before Suzuha could respond, Yuki had moved her plate over to their table.
いや、
She had no choice but to follow, but before she sat down, she whispered in Yuki's ear.
デート中なんだよね。え？あ、そうです。デート中です。改めて言われると照れますね。
Itaru didn't react at all, even though she was sure he'd overheard that.
私デートとかしたことないから詳しくないんだけどさ。デート中に他の女とカレーの早食い対決したりするもんなの？さあ、どうでしょう。でもほら、アニメとかコミックスとかにそういうのありません？お兄ちゃんを取られたくない妹が彼女さんに向かって勝負だみたいなの。
For some reason, Yuki seemed incredibly enthused. It's at this point in the last timeline that I bet she makes Daru dress up as a teddy bear. Suzuha was overwhelmed by her energy.
知らないってば。そういうものなの？兄さん。
But even when she turned to Itaru for help, he just awkwardly sat there, eating his curry like a robot.
兄さん？
He awkwardly turned his head to face her. The rest of him stayed completely still.
なんか言った。
どうしたのさ？なんかおかしいよ。
どうもしてないお。おかしくないお。
お？
Justified reaction. Suzuha glanced back at Yuki. I don't know why, I find it really funny when characters in visual novels just respond with 3 question marks. It's like, yeah, that is the best way to convey just absolute confusion. And for the first time, Yuki looked concerned. In the end, Yuki and Suzuha did have their curry eating contest, and surprisingly, both of them completely finished their meals. Suzuha won by a very small margin, but the battle was exciting enough that not only the other customers, but the staff as well were applauding at the end. But the whole time, Itaru kept eating by himself. Since this wasn't even a conversation, let alone a date, she sent Itaru home alone. 4 is too many, and 2 is not allowed unless it's in the process of reaching 3. And 5 is just out of the question. You make a fair point. Once again, I'm remembering a fucking Discworld bit that's like, 5 exclamation points. Surely the sound of an unstable mind, or something along those lines. I don't remember the exact wording of it, but like, now every time that I overuse exclamation points, I'm like, ah, yes, a sure sign of an of an unsound mind. Part of her wanted to demand Itaru explain himself right now, but she decided to talk to Yuki instead. She tried her best to avoid Yuki so far in order to keep her identity a secret, but it was July now. She would be gone from this era very soon. This might be her last chance to talk to Yuki at all.
鈴葉さんがいてくれて助かりました。
Yuki sighed a little after Itaru left.
私、もしかしたら気に障るようなことをしちゃったのかもしれません。橋田さん、私といてもあんまり楽しくないみたいだったから。単に緊張してただけじゃないかな。でも映画を見る前は楽しそうにお話ししてくれてたんですよ。それが映画の後はすっかりよそよそしくなってしまって。私
何か間違っちゃったのかな。カレー屋さんに連れて行ってもらったのも私のリクエストだったんですけど、ずっとあの調子だったからさすがにちょっと困ってしまって。
Vesta, no! Vesta, no! Ah! Vesta just tried to push my microphone over. This cat really does not want me to stream today. It's probably because, so Friday after work, I was like, okay, I've been wanting to, like, get my vertical garden out of my balcony set up for a little bit now. So I'm gonna go and pick up potting soil, and then I didn't end up picking what seeds I wanted to plant just yet. That's probably gonna be something that I take care of this week. But I did stop by a pet store and picked up cat grass for Vesta. Because if there's one thing that my cat loves, it's eating plants. And she will do it whether it's a plant that she is meant to eat or not. So I figure cat grass is a good thing to, would a Vesta-based cereal be meowgically delicious? I guess so. I guess so. Although hopefully it wouldn't give people food poisoning like Lucky Charms did like a year or two ago. I'm still not sure what the fuck was up with that because there were so many people reporting that they were like eating Lucky Charms and then having like diarrhea and just really, really bad times afterwards. And then the FDA was like, oh, it's all just a case of mass hysteria. And it's like, some of these people who were like commenting about how Lucky Charms gave them food poisoning, first off, were doing it like before it was a well-known thing. And second off, from just the way that they typed, did not seem like the kinds of people who were using the internet on a regular basis anyways. It just... I don't know if that's common knowledge, like, do all of you guys know about that thing with Lucky Charms a few years back? Where they were just making people sick? Or did I only find out about that because I listened to certain podcasts? Was this Canada or American news? It was America. It was definitely American news. Yeah, it's like, this podcast I listen to, they regularly go on the site iwaspoisoned.com to find just, like, the most bewildering reports of food poisoning. And for a while, that site was just getting flooded with people saying, yeah, I had Lucky Charms, I bought a new box recently and it's making me sick, but I love Lucky Charms, so I keep eating them. And there were just so many posts like that on that site for like a good chunk of both 2023 and 2024, if I remember correctly. And like, there was talk about how, like, industrial cleaner had gotten into the cereal somehow, and that's what was making people sick. And the FDA did like a whole investigation on Lucky Charms, or whatever brand, like, owns Lucky Charms. And then they were like, nah, it was all mass hysteria. It's like, huh? What are you talking about? Like, it did not seem like mass hysteria to me, but I mean, then again, I also don't work for the FDA, what do I know? Anyways, enough talk about food poisoning.
それで偶然お店にいた鈴葉さんに助けを求めたというわけです。
What had happened inside the theater? Suzuha hadn't followed them inside. She'd spent about 2 hours killing time outside.
あのさ、ゆきさんはなんで兄さんのこと好きになったの？いや、私が言うのもなんだけど、あんまりモテるタイプじゃないじゃん、兄さんって。鈴葉さんはお兄さんのことどう思います？私？好きですか？嫌いですか？
Yeah, they were.
好きですよね。
見ていればわかります。まあ、
There were parts of him that she didn't like, but of course, she loved her dad.
で、私のことは別にどうでもいいじゃないか。それで、ユキさんは？私はまだ好きかどうかもよくわからないです。
Vesta, no! Stop! Stop touching things on my desk! Please, cat! Let me stream!
そっか。
She usually doesn't cause this many problems for me. Then again, maybe she wants to go back out on the balcony to eat more cat grass. Not only had Itaru not told Yuki that he liked her, this was still their first date. And they hadn't spoken that much before either. She hadn't even reached the point where she saw him as a member of the opposite sex. For almost a year, Suzuha had stayed with him, and she, Mayuri, and Ferris had done everything they could to get the two of them together. But there hadn't been any real progress. Suzuha felt uneasy when she thought about the future. Maybe her dad wouldn't be her dad anymore. Maybe her mom wouldn't be her mom anymore. Dad and mom wouldn't be together. She imagined that future.
そんなの嫌だ。
She looked straight into Yuki's eyes.
私さ、もうすぐここからいなくなるんだ。え？ちょっと遠いところに引っ越すんだよね。そうなんですか？多分戻ってこないと思う。心配なんだ。父さん、兄さんのこと。だからさ、ユキさん、こんなこと私が頼むのもおかしな話なんだけど。
And then she bowed deeply.
橋田至をよろしくお願いします。
There was no answer from Yuki. Suzuha looked up afraid and tried to gauge the expression on her face. She looked kind of lonely and kind of sad.
私はどうしたいんでしょうね。
Yuki whispered, and then Suzuha.
もうどうするんだよ。これじゃ破局の危機だよ。まだ始まってもいないけど。
As soon as she got back to the lab, she yelled at her useless father.
おー、すずはごめんな。箸だけはもうダメなんだお。
しょぼくれてるんじゃない。シャレじゃ済まないんだ。とりあえず今日はなんであんな態度を取ったのかしっかり説明して。今朝出かけるときはあんなに楽しそうだったじゃないか。母さんだって映画の途中までは普通だったって言ってたし。一体何があったの？
いや、それがさ、聞いてくれよ。
We held hands before marriage.
映画の座席って狭いじゃん。だから僕、天音氏の邪魔にならないようにと思ってできるだけ椅子の端っこに寄って座ってたんだよね。そしたら椅子がベキっていって壊れそうになって、で慌てて体を支えようとして肘掛けを掴んだんだけど、それが肘掛けじゃなくて天音氏のその 手だったんだお。
Holding hands before marriage! Lewd!
うんそんなこと母さん一言も言ってなかったけど。
嘘じゃないよ。あの柔らかい感触は肘掛けのはずがない。女の子の手に決まってる。
そう
ただ僕、女の子と手をつなぐなんて2次元ならともかく3次元じゃほとんど経験なくて。
それでどうしたの？
天音優しいからさ、僕を傷つけないようにと思ったのか、その手を振りほどかないんだお。僕ってこの体型じゃん。手汗とかかきまくりじゃん。ベッタベッタになるわけじゃん。なのに天音何にも言わずそのままで。なんかそれからすごく意識するようになっちゃって。
ああ、なるほどね。それであんなにポンコツになってたのか。
天音もきっと心の中でキモいうざい話せ変態って思ってたに違いないよ。
母さんはそんな人間じゃないよ。
In fact, from the way she was acting, she probably thought she'd upset him somehow. The problem was what she'd said.
私はどうしたいんでしょうね。
What did she mean by that?
母さんがわからない。
鈴葉、こうなったら母さんのことは諦めて僕と二人で仲良く生きていこう。
言ってることがめちゃくちゃだよ。そもそも私はどうやって生まれてくればいいんだ。
でも無理だって。
父さんが頑張らないでどうするの？このピンチをチャンスに変えるんだよ。
She grabbed her father by the collar and shook him.
出ないと。
She remembered how sad Yuki had looked when they'd said goodbye.
出ないと取り返しがつかないことになるよ。
ですよね。
I wonder if maybe the problem right now is just that people keep putting pressure on Daru to date Yuki. Like, what if they're just psyching him out of it? Just reverse psychologying Suzuha out of being born. And then she heard a car park in front of the lab. Okay, this part is different. She recognized the voice coming from below the open window.
お、フェイリスタンの声じゃね？
Suzuha let go of Itaru's collar and moved over to the window. Below, she saw a group of people she knew. Rintaro Okabe, Mayuri Shina, Ferris Nyanyan, and Maho Hyajo, too.
ヒヤジョウさん、もう到着してたのか。でもなんでオカリンおじさんたちと一緒なんだろう。
And then she gave a start and turned back towards the room.
まずいよ、それ出しっぱなし。
Uh-oh! Uh-oh! Suzuha pointed towards the desk in the development room, where the phone wave named subject to change Unit 2 was sitting. Yeah, fucking hide that!
覚醒。
オキドキ。
Okie dokie! If nothing else, this meant that Maho Hyajo was coming to the future gadget lab. Suzuha hoped that this meant the work on the phone wave would get back on track. Alright, that's another chapter down. Vega and Altair. We'll do one more scene and then I'll wrap up stream for the night. What? Huh? There was a small explosion in the room filled with smoke. What? Huh?
ぎほぎほぎほ大きいゲホドキ
What the fuck? We go to a chapter transition once, and things are exploding! Maho crawled out into the living room. Itaru rushed to open the window, and she heard a man who was probably the building's owner yell up at them. Itaru poked his head out and apologized to the man below. It took a minute, but the owner was finally satisfied, and the arguments ended. What were you guys doing? Hi, souls. Welcome to the stream. May the 4th be with you, too. You had pizza and salad for dinner. Hell yeah. I've still got to eat dinner. I've got to take care of that as soon as the stream is done. I can't believe on Sundays how often I will just forget to have dinner. All it takes is like 1 or 2 days where I don't have any kind of routine, and I just start forgetting to eat for no reason. As Itaru wiped away the sweat, she saw that his face and clothes were both covered in soot. Maho was no different. Some of her hair had been burnt off, and the white lab coat she'd gone through all that trouble to get had turned pitch black.
どういうことか説明して、なぜいきなり煙を吹いたの？
電子レンジが原因だと思われ、粗大ゴミで捨てられてたのを拾ってきたやつだから、どこかショートしたのかも。
拾ってきたって、あなたね。
How's the game so far? It's been good. I mean, we've mostly been going through scenes that we've already seen before, so there was the battle between Suzuha and Kagari. Then we had a new scene with Maho at the airport with Okabe and Ferris and Mayuri. Then we had the failed date between Daru and Yuki. And now we're here. Maho is in Japan, not under Leskinen's control this time. And they're doing experiments. You can see how well they're going. You've been enjoying Taiko Rhythm Drum Game. Hell yeah. I think Val's told me a little bit about that game. Looks cool. I don't think I'd be able to play it because in rhythm games I find I'm very bad whenever it's like, okay, here are all of the notes, they are in one straight line. For some reason, whenever there's just a bunch of notes on the same line and I just have to hit that one spot over and over again, I can't keep the rhythm. I don't know what the fuck it is. I can never get the timing right. So I feel like Taiko is something that I'm more gonna have to enjoy vicariously through other people.
私たちが作ろうとしているのは人類史に名を残すレベルの大発明なのよ。なのになんで粗大ゴミを部品に使っているの？
業務用の電子レンジは高いのだぜ。
信じられない。私のクレジットカードを使ってもいいからなんとかしなさい。
Maho didn't have that much money, but this was no time to be cheap.
それは助かるよ。
Maho wiped her sweaty, soot-covered face with a towel. The white towel turned black immediately.
もう我慢できないわ。エアコンを入れるわよ。
それは無理。電話レンジカッコ仮2号機と一緒に稼働させるとブレーカーが落ちるんで。
Damn.
つうかそのエアコン電気代がとんでもないことになるから1日1時間しか使うの禁止って言ったっしょ。
These working conditions were abysmal. Was Kurisu really able to create the time leap machine under these circumstances? Yes. Just thinking about it gave her even more respect for Kurisu.
分かったわよ。でも髪まですすまみれだからシャワーを借りたいのだけれど、
どうぞどうぞ。
もしちょっとでも覗くような真似をしたらすぐに鈴葉さんに連絡するから、そのつもりで。
そんなことしないって。
He sounded so sad. For some reason, Itaru responded to Maho's warning by sighing and slumping his shoulders.
つうか僕は今そういう冗談に付き合っていられるほど心の余裕はないよ。
Maho hadn't meant it as a joke. She was extremely serious.
昇進の僕は今週はエロゲすら立ってる状態なんで。はあ。
She'd heard from Suzuha that the day she'd arrived in Japan, Itaru had screwed up bad on a date. It was true that Itaru was a lot quieter than his usual self. Mayuri had even said that Daru not playing H games must be an omen of some impending natural disaster. But either way, she didn't have the time for his negativity, so she mostly ignored him and went to the shower room. Ah, good, we get to reuse this CG. Since Suzuha used the shower regularly, it was relatively clean. There was a good selection of body soap and shampoo, and Suzuha told her that she could use it as she liked.
せっかくの七夕だっていうのに、なんでこんなすすまみれになってないといけないのかしら。
That day was, indeed, Tanabata. Actually, Maho had been secretly looking forward to this day. Since she lived in America for so long, she was interested in Japan's traditional summer holiday. She was especially interested in the famous story of Orihime and Hikoboshi, and the custom of writing down wishes and hanging them from bamboo. So, let's look at the tips. Orihime, a girl who appears in the legend of Tanabata. The star Vega in the constellation Lyra is known as Orihime's star. She was the daughter of the Emperor of Heaven, and was given the name Orihime, weaving princess, because of her mastery of the loom. She is married to Hikoboshi, Natsuhiko, but the Emperor of Heaven decreed that they would only be allowed to meet once a year on July 7th in the old Japanese calendar. And Hikoboshi, a man who appears in the legend of Tanabata. In Japan, Altair, the brightest star of the constellation Aquila, is Aquila? I don't know how to pronounce that. Is known as the summer Hikoboshi star. The star Vega, Orihime, is separated from Altair by the Milky Way, and the legend says that only on Tanabata can they cross it and come together. This was originally a Chinese legend. Very interesting. Since she was here, she sort of wanted to try writing down a wish too. She didn't want to bring it up herself because she didn't want anyone thinking of her as childish, but Mayuri, Ferris, and the other girls all seemed like they'd want to do something like that. Part of her had hoped they'd invite her too. That's why it hurt so much to be spending the hot summer afternoon in the lab with Itaru, covered in soot. She was thinking about that as she washed herself off when... She could hear Itaru calling her from outside.
何よ、まさか本気で覗くつもり？このドアをちょっとでも開いてみなさい。泣いちゃうから。そんな燃え台詞言ってる場合じゃないって。今マユシから連絡あった。もしかするとオカリンがこっち来るかも。え？岡部さんが？
Maho's mind started to race. She'd been told that Okabe rarely came to the lab anymore. In fact, after he dropped her off here on the first day, he hadn't come by even once. That's why she'd felt safe going in and out of the lab, but... That's how she'd explained her visit to Okabe. If he found out she was working on the phone wave with Itaru, there would be trouble. After she was sure Itaru was gone, she quickly washed the bubbles from the body soap off her body. Her long hair still wasn't dry, but there wasn't time for that. She wiped herself off with the towel and was about to leave the shower room when she heard the door open. Uh-oh! He was here already? She quickly shut the door to the shower room again. But then she looked down and saw that she was naked. Her clothes were lying on the floor past the door. There was no way she could get them without Okabe seeing her. Her only choice was to stay hidden, completely undressed, and wait for him to leave. Yeah, you could say that again. Back to this guy!
Yo, Daru.
Daru greeted me as I came inside the lab. He seemed to be in kind of a hurry.
ああ、オカリンか。一人で来るなんて珍しいじゃん。
The room smelled kind of like smoke. And someone must have been using the shower room because the smoky smell was mixed with the scent of soap. But whoever it was, it definitely wasn't Daru. His face and clothes were blackened with soot. I thought it might be Suzuha, but the lights in the shower room were turned off.
何してたんだ？お前真っ黒だぞ。
ああ、これはこの前粗大ゴミの電子レンジを拾ってきたんだよね。で、さっきそれでコンビニ弁当を温めてたら爆発した。
爆発って、大丈夫か？
Crazy how not dead everyone is so far. I mean, to be fair, in the last route, like, in the bad ending, no one really got hurt or died until, like, the very, very end.
ブラウン氏に怒られた。
あまり目をつけられるなよ。いつ追い出されるかわからないんだから。そんなことになれば、お前はともかく、鈴葉は行くところがなくなるだろう。
そうだね。で、今日はどうしたん？マヨシなら来てないけど。
お前に話があるんだ。朗報だぞ。
だが断る。
まだ何も言ってないだろ
う。オカリンの持ってきた話がまともだってことなんて一度もないんで。
まあ聞けって。昨日の夜さ、レスキネン教授と食事に行ったんだ。それで留学の話になったんだけど。
ああ、またその話か。
I was keeping in touch with Dr. Leskinen. Of course, the professor knew that Maho was here in Japan. Yesterday, he'd shown me a picture of her taken in Okinawa. I could see her standing in the surf with a blank expression on her face. A friend or a family member must have taken it. Dr. Leskinen had been really nice to me, and I talked to him a lot about going to Victorchondria. Of course, at a minimum, I needed to graduate at my current school and pass the exchange exam for Victorchondria.
せっかくだからダルのことも教授に話してみたんだ。そうしたら興味を持ってくれた。
僕？
ビクトル・コンドリア大学には情報科学研究所っていうところがあってな、世界最高のハッカーが集まってるらしいんだよ。ダルの腕なら通用するんじゃないか。
I'd been inviting Daru to come to America with me, but he didn't seem that interested. He'd said things like, I can't imagine living away from the otaku mecca, and no way am I living anywhere you can't get H games and anime figures. He'd done nothing but give excuses like that.
そりゃ僕はスーパーハッカーだし、通用すると思うけどさ。
とりあえず教授に会ってみるだけならどうだ。面識だってあるんだし。
今忙しいんだお。
1日ぐらいなら時間作れるだろう。
A true Renaissance man.
コミマが終わるまでは無理かな。
1ヶ月以上先じゃないか。
とにかくしばらくは無理。
いや、誰本当に言い訳ばっかりだな。そんなに行きたくないのか？
I sighed and sat down on the sofa. This room really was hot as hell during the summer. The windows were open and the fans were running at full speed, but I was still sweating. There was an air conditioner, but evidently he wasn't using it.
誰毒ペって置いてあるか？
Hell yeah, Dr. Pepper time!
マヨシが買い置きしてるかも。
I got up and took a look in the fridge in the corner of the room. There was regular soda, mineral water, and some sports drinks. But not a single Dr. P. As usual, the freezer was stuffed with juicy fried chicken #1. Mayuri really did buy a ton of this stuff. Wait, is there even more than usual? Maybe she bought some for Suzuha too.
スポーツドリンクもらうぞ。
鈴葉の飲みかけ以外なら OK。
I grabbed an unopened bottle and took a big gulp. I happened to take a look at the snack shelf next to the fridge. Mixed in with the instant noodles and snacks were 5 bunches of bananas. Mayuri must have bought those too. But still, all that fried chicken and now these bananas. Was she eating more than she had been? She always said that no matter how much she ate, she never got fat, but if she bought this many bananas at once, they were all going to turn brown and squishy before she could eat them all. You know, that might be the play, though. That's how you make good banana bread. And Yuki has been teaching her how to cook? But no, it's probably because of the phone wave experiments, but like... Shiz is about to go down like this. This scene is absolutely gonna end with Okabe finding the fucking phone wave. Like, I can already tell it's gonna happen. Like, don't spoil it! But, like... Come on. That's how this scene is ending. I can just tell.
ああ、それ買ってきたのマヨシじゃなくて僕。あ。
Huh?
Daru quickly cut himself off. Okay, yep. Daru! You're gonna give it away? I turned toward him and he averted his gaze. He'd been acting really weird this whole time. Was he hiding something?
お前がこんなに買ったのか？いつからバナナ好きになった？
いやほら、鈴葉に言われてるんだって。ダイエットにいいから毎日食べろってさ。
Good save! Good save!
そういえば昔そんなダイエットが流行ったな。
Some celebrity had gone on TV and said she'd lost a bunch of weight on a banana diet, and the next day all the bananas in Japan disappeared from the stores. My dad had tried to get in on the boon a little too late and bought a huge supply of bananas, only to see it flare out and most of them rot on the shelves. I remembered that.
だからってこんなに一度に買うなよな。だいぶ色が変わってきてるじゃないか。
Well, whatever. I was hungry, so I decided to take one. Oh, is it gonna be a fucking jelly banana? I took a banana and peeled the skin.
とにかく少しは加減ってものを考えろ。
そうだね。うん。
I finished the banana in 3 bites and went to toss the peel in the burnable trash can. And then I noticed something strange. The can was filled with bananas. Oh, fuck. Okay. More than anybody could possibly eat. Over half the can was filled up with bananas. And it wasn't just the skins. Some of them were unpeeled but half rotten. And the summer heat made them give off a nasty stench. I remembered seeing something like this once before.
またゲルバナ作るの？
That's right. It was when I was living here a year ago, doing experiments every day. And then my mind flashed back to the contents of the fridge, and that bizarre stockpile of juicy fried chicken. couldn't be. I plunged my hands into the garbage can, not caring about the filth.
おかりん
Daru was clearly uneasy, but I ignored him. I was right. Under the remains of the bananas, I saw tons of boxes of empty fried chicken. No matter how much Mayuri liked them, or how much of a glutton Daru was, no one would voluntarily eat this much frozen fried chicken every day. I mean, I would have given the opportunity, I'll be honest. I went deeper into the garbage can. There's a secret dog! Come on, Daru, just say that you've been hiding a pet. Then I found something I didn't want to see.
なあダル
なんぞ
バナナと冷凍唐揚げの組み合わせ懐かしいな。
うん
1年くらい前か。よくこうして実験してたよな。かなり無駄な使い方してたから真由里によく怒られた。食べ物を粗末にしちゃダメだって。
そうだね。
しょうがないから電子レンジで温かくなったバナナも俺たちで食べて処分したよな。あれはひどい味だった。でもさすがにこれは食べられなかったよ。
What I pulled out of the garbage can was a green, gooey mass. Yeah, you can just tell in his voice that he's pissed. It was a thick, disgusting liquid like you'd expect to see if you crushed a giant bug. The goo dripped out of my fingers and splattered onto the floor. It was what used to be a banana. What we'd once called a gel nana.
おう、しまった。
Daru put his hands to his head. But then he evidently gave up on hiding it.
まずった。こんなあっさりバレちゃったか。もうちょっと隠し通せると思ったんだけどな。実際さ、目処がついたらちゃんと相談したいこともあったし、打ち明ける予定ではあったんだけど。
Daru tossed me the towel. Evidently, he'd already used it because it was covered in black soot. But I decided to wipe the gel nana off my hands with it anyways. Daru went into the development room and started moving boxes and dust covers.
ほれ、これが2号機。
And on the table appeared the horrible Future Gadget number 8, which I'd built, improved, and finally dismantled a year ago.
組み立て直したのか。
電話レンジカッコ仮バージョン2とどっちがいいか結構迷った。
名前なんてどうでもいい。
マジ？オカリンの言葉とは思えないな。どの未来ガジェットもさ、円卓会議やって大騒ぎして名前決めたじゃん。
黒歴史だろ。
そう？
Daru was looking at the dust-covered future gadgets that were sitting on the shelf in the development room. There was something like fondness in his gaze. Why the hell was he acting like this? Did he think of that nightmare as some kind of happy, youthful memory? I was about to tell him to go screw himself, but held it in.
お前、俺が言ったことを忘れたのか。これは危険だ。俺たちが持っていて一種のものじゃない。
うん。けどさ、僕未来でタイムマシン作らないといけないんだよね。そうするとやっぱこいつを研究することがその第一歩だと思うわけ。
I am expecting him to still have a huge crash out. He's just holding it in right now. Like, there's probably gonna be a breaking point at some point in this conversation. I gave up on trying to hold it back. There it is. I got up in his face and yelled at him.
何度も
何度も話したよな。こいつのせいで何が起こったのか、こいつのせいで俺がどんな体験をしたのか。これを作ったことでマユリは殺されるんだ。これを作ったことでクリスは犠牲になったんだ。これを作ったことでお前の娘は過去へ飛んで
Oh god, wait a second!
したんだ。
Maho just heard this! Maho just heard that Kurisu died because of the time machine. Oh, that is gonna have ramifications. Okay, okay.
忘れたって言うならもう一度話してやろうか。お前はそんなにバカだったのか。自分でそれを体験してみないとわからないほどバカだったのか。
バカはあなたよ、岡部倫太郎。
And suddenly, Maho! I suddenly heard an angry female voice behind me. I looked back and saw Maho Hyajo glaring at me.
ヒヤジョさん。
おう、ごほろり来たこれ。
Don't say that!
なんて格好してるんだよ。っていうかなんでここに。
There is a lot of naked this episode, huh?
これはそのつい勢い余ってあまりジロジロ見ないで訴えるわよ。
そっちがそんな格好で出てきたんじゃないか。
ちょっと待ってなさい。今服を着てくるから。
Maho quickly went back into the shower room and came out dressed a moment later.
失礼、待たせたわ。
もしかして俺が来た時から隠れてたのか。
私のことはどうでもいいでしょ。
レスキネン教授に送った沖縄での写真はわざわざ捏造したのか。
Uh-oh. We went from don't create the torment nexus, it killed Kurisu, to no, don't look at Nakies. The duality of Steins Gate. Also, fucking busted. Both the professor and I were comfortably taken in by that picture of her standing on that Okinawan beach. But it seemed we'd both been tricked. It was well made enough that Daru must have been involved.
君の来日の目的は沖縄じゃなかったというわけだ。
ええ、そうよ。あなたが電話レンジカッコ仮なんていうセンスのない名前をつけたそのマシンのために来たの。
君にも説明したはずだ。D メールによって一体何が引き起こされたのかを。それをまた繰り返すつもりか。
違うわ。
何が違う？ D メールを送ればそれはエシロンに補足され、世界線は今のベータから再びアルファに戻ってしまうんだ。
The picture was probably made by a technology introduced in Chaos Head. Not gonna say what though. Interesting. We're already past D and emails. We're already on Gmails. We don't want to go to H mails though. I feel like that's gonna be that's gonna be something else. Echelon, an advanced communications monitoring system said by conspiracy theorists to be owned by the US government. It said that the system is operated by America's National Security Agency, NSA, but the US government has never publicly admitted to its existence, and no proof of it has ever been found. Wow, this article is long for something under the category Chunibyo. Participating countries supposedly include America, England, Canada, Australia, and New Zealand. France is not included among them. Japan is what's called a third party, which receives information in exchange for putting an Echelon receiving station in their country. It's rumored that the Elephant Cage, a massive antenna array found in the Misawa Air Base in Aomori, is actually part of Echelon. It supposedly intercepts a wide variety of messages, from military traffic to individual cell phones, all of which is stored and monitored. Echelon is actually a real thing, is it? I mean, I can't say I'm surprised. Especially not in the age where it's like, fucking everything is like, yeah, I'm just gonna take your personal information and sell it, hope that's fine.
そうしたらマユリはまた死ぬ。何度やっても助けられない。永遠に死に続ける。
And then I had a terrifying thought and stared directly into Maho's eyes. No way. She of all people couldn't possibly. I trusted Maho completely and I didn't want to believe that she was capable of it. But the terrible machine that I just confronted had drained me of any kind of rationality. A flashback felt like it was going to hit me any second. Images of Kurisu and Mayuri's deaths were flashing through my mind. And so I said something I never should have said.
君はまさか世界線をアルファに戻したいのか。
Remember, if you don't want your personal information sold, simply send a written letter to every scraping company and they promise to take you off the list in 3 to 5 business months. Yeah, that's how it goes. Considering there's an entire Wikipedia page for it confirming its existence. Huh. Hell yeah. Alright then. I mean, not hell yeah to the fact that it exists. I'm saying hell yeah to the fact that, like, we know that it exists and it's not just a conspiracy theory anymore.
Eh? クリスが生きていて、マユリが死んでいる世界を望むのか?
Thankfully, we are in the Steins Gate world line. And somehow it still sucks.
この野郎!
Whoa, holy shit! There was an impact on my cheek, and a loud sound in my ears. The next thing I knew, I was lying on the ground face up. It was a while before I understood what had happened. The left half of my face felt like it was on fire. I was punched? By Daru? I'd known him for 5 years, and this was the first time anything like that had happened.
謝れ! 今すぐ魔法団に謝れ!
ちょっとやめなさい、橋田さん。
オカリンがどれだけ苦しんでるかなんて僕には想像しかできないけどさ。だから安っぽい同情なんてしないし、するつもりもねえよ。でもな、お前結局ただそれに甘えてるだけじゃねえか。
Okay, the thing is, the man does straight up have PTSD, Daru! I don't think that's just using it as an excuse.
魔法団だって、鈴葉だって、マユシだって、みんながお前のためにどれだけ。
Okay, I can kind of see where he's coming from, I think. Maho grabbed Daru's body and tried to hold him back.
離せ! こいつ、もっとぶん殴ってやらないとわかんないんだよ!
Zero Okabe really did go through the most shit.
もう十分よ。今ので十分。だから落ち着いて。
And this time Maho put her hand on Daru's shoulder.
後の説明は私がしておくわ。顔でも洗ってきなさい。ほら。
She pointed towards the shower room, and Daru finally seemed to get control of himself again.
わかった。
He looked a little awkward as he lowered his fist. Normally, he hated any kind of seriousness, so in a situation like this, he'd always tell one of his perverted gentleman jokes. But there were no jokes as he vanished beyond the curtain and into the shower room. A moment later, I could hear the sound of the water. Maho was looking down at me.
あなたがおかしなことを言うからよ。
そうだな。すまなかった。今のは決して本心じゃ。
わかってるわ。あなた、そんな人じゃないもの。ほら、立てる？
I grabbed her hand and slowly got up. I'd taken a solid hit when I wasn't expecting it, and so my head was still a little dizzy.
今のは聞いた。普段優しいやつが怒ると聞くな。
そうね。しかも自分のためじゃなく他の誰かのために怒れる人は素敵だと思う。少しだけ見直したわ。
Maho seemed a bit happy as she looked towards the shower room. It's like I've said before, it's like whenever Daru isn't just being a complete fucking pervert, he's a pretty cool dude.
見直したのは少しだけなのか。
Daru getting recognized for the goat he is.
だって私への言動がいつもセクハラばっかりだもの。
Yeah,
もしかしたら
yeah, not great.
君のことが好きになったのかもしれないぞ。
You don't understand. He can fit so much curry in him.
子供がよくやるだろう。好きな子に意地悪するとか、あれと同じだ。あいつ、頭の中、子供だからな。
冗談じゃないわ。鈴葉さんを私の娘にしたいわけ？
それはまずいな。
I chuckled a bit, but quickly stopped and turned to face Maho. The difference between our heights was so great that I was looking down on her.
俺の主観で言えば、この世界はクリスの選択のおかげで存在してるんだ。クリスがいたからマイリは無事でいられる。幸せに暮らしていられる。それを俺も守らなくちゃいけない。君は科学者だ。俺なんかよりずっと優れた頭脳の持ち主だ。だから理解できるだろう、この世界の摂理を。
ええ。
Maho quietly nodded.
それは言ってみれば神みたいなものなんだよ。神に人間が挑むなんて無謀だったんだ。なのに俺はそれに何回も何十回も何百回も挑んで全てが失敗に終わった。無駄だったんだ。人の傲慢を神は決して許さない。
そうね。
Maho was looking out the window. It was as if she was thinking back to her homeland and ancestors.
神というのは私の祖国やあるいは沖縄の人たちの間でもポピュラーな存在として信じられているわ。私も祖父母や父母からその素敵な考えを教えられてきた。科学に身を捧げるものではあるけれど決して神を侮ったりはしない。
それなら。
Maho shook her head a little and looked up at me with a piercing
け
gaze.
どね、あなたが盛んに口にする神はそれとは全く違う。
Her words were sharp with no room for disagreement.
世界の摂理ですって。そんなものはただこの世界を構築している数式に過ぎないわ。神なんて立派なものは介在していないし、私たちに解が導けない道理はないのよ。
I was about to respond, but before I could, Maho went inside the development room. I had no choice but to follow her.
D メールとエシュロンとの因果、それによる危険性については十分認識しているわ。
Huh, that's interesting. See, I know nothing about the Chaos series. I literally have gotten into, I don't remember what the, like, series as a whole is called. But, I only got into, like, this VN series from the original Steins Gate because, I have a friend who highly recommended the original Steins Gate to me. I haven't heard that much about Chaos Head or Robotics Notes. I do want to play them eventually. It probably won't be for a while, though.
安心しなさい。D メールは今の時点では封印してある。
Yeah, they do. They absolutely take a while to get through.
あなたの懸念しているような事態は起こらないし、
Life is busy.
私が絶対に起こさせない。アルファ世界線に戻させたりもしない。
Chaos Head spoilers gets in your head chaotically. Something introduced at the very start of Chaos Head is that the MC is being looked at by God. Huh. Interesting. Yeah, I'm very interested to get into those games, because I hear that they are, what's the word? Denpa games? I guess Steins Gate is, like, kind of Denpa adjacent, because it does deal with, like, conspiracy theories and stuff like that, but... Like, I have heard that Chaos Head is more in, like... Oh, the protagonist is, like, an unreliable narrator, and... You know, it's very surreal, and you're not always sure if things are actually happening, or if it's just in the main character's head. It's like, those kinds of VNs are always very, very interesting to me. It's just, yeah, like I said, VNs take a long time to get through, life is busy, and I've already been on Steins Gate 0 since 2023, I think? Steins Gate, Chaos Head, and Robotics Notes are all in the same vein of what if your mum was a phone genre. Okay. I was about to ask what you meant by that, but no, I think I understand.
もちろん D メールの危険を回避する方法もエシュロンを無効化する策も橋田さんと検討中よ。ただ今はその検証にリソースを割くより先にやらなくてはならないことがあるの。
Chaos Head is more Denpa than Steins Gate? Fair. Yeah, I can definitely see that. Like, from what I hear, Chaos Head is all about, like, separating, like, daydreams from reality or something along those lines. Denpa, I think it has something to do with, like, radio waves. It's basically slang for a very specific kind of VN where it's like you see everything through the protagonist's eyes. It's typically got like psychological elements to it. It usually has like some element of like conspiracy theories. That's why it's called Denpa. It's like radio waves and stuff. Actually, let me just look up an explanation. What is a Denpa game? Let me see. Denpa, Aesthetics Wiki. Ah, cool, the first thing I see is a fucking screenshot from Saya no Uta. Denpa is a Japanese literary genre characterized by themes of delusion, social isolation, and disconnection from reality. Emerging from the anxieties about a Muen Shakai, relationless society, and events like the 1981 Fukugawa serial slasher case. Okay. Denpa fiction often features psychological horror and existentialism, with manifestations in anime, visual novels, and cinema. The term has been translated in various ways, including electromagnetic wave, radio wave, or psychoelectric. This is what I'm finding on the aesthetics wiki /Denpa, but that seems like a good explanation. I asked in chat so I wouldn't have to look it up. That's fair. I've been watching like a lot of videos about Denpa, or I used to. That was mostly back in 2023 and 2024. There's actually a really good YouTube channel that I like. The name is Emily Dory. She plays through a bunch of different, like, VNs, some of which aren't even translated into English, and talks about the plot and the themes and stuff like that. It's very cool. She's done multiple videos about different Denpa games, which I find them super interesting. Yeah, it's really cool. I love her videos so much because it's like, so many of the games that she highlights are just completely inaccessible to anyone outside of Japan. So it's kind of like, okay, this is the only way I could take in this story. VNs that aren't translated into English are so much easier to get through. Yeah, because you're doing the equivalent of, like, when you're a kid and you open up a picture book and you just look at the pictures and you go, yeah, I read the book. It's a good way to look at it? I think so. Like, yeah, I highly recommend that channel. Denpa is a very, very cool genre. It's like, I think it'd be cool to write a Denpa story. I don't know how I would go about doing it. I've been thinking about writing a lot lately because I'm doing some outline work for, like, my biggest writing project at the moment. Because the last 2 years I was trying to rework it into something else, and then it all fell apart because I thought, wait, this isn't supposed to be a novel, this is supposed to be a visual novel. And then immediately the entire thing I'd been building up for 2 years just crumbled like sand. But, at the very least, I do have a lot of good ideas that stemmed from that 2 years that I can definitely put into play in, like, my latest draft, and hopefully it's gonna be the last one, because good god, I've been trying to write this story for over 10 years now. I want to make it real so bad! This thing has been living rent-free in my brain since I was 14! I need to get it out! One day. Hopefully soon, but one day. Someday, you guys are going to, like, I'm gonna go live with a new game, and I'm gonna be like, oh, I just found this on the internet, isn't that weird? Ho 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 ho! And then, at the very end, I'm gonna be like, hey, by the way, I made this. It's gonna happen someday. I'm speaking it into existence. Until then, though, we'll see. I mean, first I do have to fucking make the thing. Someday. To be fair, though, I'm closer to actually finishing the draft this time than I have before, I think. Delusions can become reality. I can be proof of this. The perfect time to read VNs is when you're in the old folks' home. Hopefully it's not gonna take me that long to write it. Although, to be fair, if I go to the old folks' home and I don't have a laptop that I can play video games on in my bed whenever I'm sleeping, like, 18 hours a day and I'm only awake for, like, 3 hours. If I can't have a laptop where I can just play my fucking stories. Novella in 70 years still live on YouTube. God, that makes me think, like, who is going to be the longest running YouTuber slash streamer? 'Cause someday, someone is, like, I'm sure there is already someone who's, like, been doing this shit for, like, 10, 20 years. But imagine the first person to have been on YouTube actively making content for 50 years. Like, what the fuck is that gonna look like? Funny enough, I had to help a friend proofread her novel a week ago. Hell yeah. It didn't start well when her opening statement was, "Is 2,000 words too long for a sex scene?" I don't know much about sex scenes, but, like, that almost seems too short. I don't know, though. Like, actually, now that I think about it, pretty much every sex scene that I've read in, like, real books has been... Yeah, it depends how descriptive you want to get, I guess. But it's like, yeah, I'm thinking of, like, sex scenes in books that I've read recently, and it's like, most of them are short as hell. I mean, then again, I also don't look for romance books because I have zero interest. I have interest in, like... See, it's... Okay, we're about to get on a major tangent. I am not a fan of, like, reading romance fiction. Unless it's dating sims. For some reason, I think it's because with dating sims, it's like, you're more focused on, like, learning who this character is. I mean, there is also, you know, sex scenes and, like, you know, cute romance scenes and stuff, but it's like the really good, like, dating sims, the ones that really make the characters feel human, Like, their routes are awesome. My response is, depends if you're trying to paint a picture in passion or doing a play-by-play for WWE. Yeah, AO3 writers wouldn't mind dedicating chapters. But yeah, it's like, I don't know what it is with me. It's like, I've tried reading, like, fanfic for even, like, ships that I genuinely enjoy, where it's like, oh, these two have a great dynamic in canon. Let's see how this person does it. But it's like, the second that it becomes a romance story, I'm like, I'm tired. I think I'm gonna go to sleep. Romance is just not for me, unless it's dating sims, for some fucking reason. Like, that was the main reason why I got into Mystic Messenger. I was like, I don't give a shit about the romance. I just want to know what the fuck is happening. And I've watched videos after the fact about what the fuck is going on in Mystic Messenger, and I still don't understand. Or, well, I do, but it's like, I need the romance. Those crazy kids are so cute together. That's fair. That's fair. I understand the appeal. I understand the appeal of, like, romance fanfic and even, like, smut fanfic, but it's just for me. It's not for me. Yeah. I don't know what it is. Anyways, enough of the tangents, though. Maho tap the top of the phone wave unit 02.
今私たちが研究しているのは クリスが成し遂げたというタイムリープの方。
It is so surreal not seeing name subject to change after phone wave. That's why I stumbled on that. It's like, wait, this isn't how it normally goes.
じゃあタイムリープしかできないのかそれ。
そういうことになるわね。
She was right. I was looking at a time leap machine, not the phone wave name subject to change. There it is! I could tell they recreated all the improvements that Kurisu had made to the phone wave. The most obvious was the PC and monitor that were connected to the microwave. And connected to the PC was a headset and what looked like a cord covered in electrodes. In this world line, only I knew the details of how the time leap machine was set up, and I hadn't told Daru or Maho about them. In other words, with only some small hints, Maho had managed to create the same thing as Kurisu.
正直なところ、とても悔しいわ。
悔しい。
研究すればするほど、やっぱり私はクリスにはなれないって思い知らされるのよ。
I mean, I think you've taken a big step closer to being her. Considering the fact that you've basically replaced her in this
それをト
timeline.
ップダウン検索信号込みで携帯電話に転送する。そこまではできるの。ただ、最大の問題がクリアできない。クリスはそれをやってのけたのに。
データの圧縮だな。
Maho nodded.
何テラバイトもある膨大な記憶データをどうやって圧縮するのか。その謎が私ではどうしても解けない。
That was the part that Kurisu had struggled with the most, too. But in the end, with Daru's help, she'd been able to do it.
あなたはクリスから何か聞いているのかしら。その方法を。
She seemed a little unhappy as she asked me that. It'd be funny if Okabe Gate kept it and said, "Good luck, lol." Asking for the answer meant giving up on finding the solution for herself, and so it meant admitting defeat. Maybe that was really hard for her. Yet she'd chosen to put completing the machine first. But I had no intention of giving her the answer right away.
前に俺の経験したことを話した時に約束をしたよな。覚えてるか？タイムマシンでマキセ・クリスを救おうなんて絶対に考えるな。
ええ。
今でもその約束を守るつもりがあるか？その気がないなら 協力はできない。
Maho didn't answer for a while. But without even looking at her face, I could tell she was being torn apart inside.
もちろん守るわ。あなたとの約束だもの。
After a long pause, she gave her answer. I couldn't help but laugh.
君は嘘が下手だな。そんな顔をしていたらすぐにバレる。話は終わったな。
Yeah, the soundtrack to Steins Gate is really good. I wanted to bring it up before, but it's like, every time the goofy music comes on, I just have to smile. Like, the soundtrack of this game is so fucking good. Then I left the development room. I looked towards the shower room, but I could still hear the sound of falling water from within. Dare was showing no signs of being done.
なあ、ダル。バカは俺だった。本当にすまなかった。
I spoke, but there was no answer. Maybe he hadn't heard me. It seemed better for both of us if I apologized tomorrow.
また明日来るから。
That was all I said as I headed towards the door.
岡部さん。
Maho followed me. She came up to me so fast she almost slammed into me.
シュタインズゲートは実在すると思う？マユリさんが死ぬことなく、そしてクリスも犠牲にならない、そんな狭間の世界線があると思う？
Name drop, roll credits.
それを目指した俺の顛末を知りたいなら鈴葉に聞くといい。結局運命には逆らえなかった。あんなのはくだらない妄想だよ。
そう言い切ってしまって本当にいいの？ないと証明されたわけではないのよ。
そんなのまさに悪魔の証明じゃないか。そんな証明誰にもできるわけがない。
Maybe the Steins Gate was the frozen chicken we ate along the way. Devil's Proof. Said to be originally developed by a jurist in medieval Europe during a case over possession rights. It's used as a hypothetical today in other contexts such as law and politics, during discussions of rule violations. For example, if someone were to tell you to prove that the devil exists, you could, in turn, demand proof that the devil does not exist. And then, when they fail to provide that proof, you could say, since you can't prove the devil doesn't exist, then he must exist. This is, of course, simple sophistry that proves nothing at all, but since it can turn a debate into an endless loop, traditionally the burden of proof is placed on the first person to make a statement. Yeah, that's fair.
そうよ。あるのかないのかも証明されていないのに、あなたはたった一度失敗したくらいで諦めた。
Maho was gritting her teeth hard.
呆れてしまうわ。
何？
I almost went out of control and grabbed her by the shoulders, but I managed to stop myself at the last second.
さっきも言っただろう。俺はそれ以前に何回も何十回も何百回も挑んで。
私も言ったはずよ。それは神の摂理でも何でもないって。世界線もタイムマシンもシュタインズゲートなんてものも、どれも世界を構築するただの数式に過ぎない。何回も何十回も何百回も失敗した。だからなんだというの？そんなの科学の世界では当たり前のことよ。それで失敗したのなら何千回も何万回も何億回も挑戦すればいい。
I mean, that's very easy for you to say when you're not the one who had to watch your best friend get killed in front of you like 100 times.
そうすれば必ずそこに介抱は見つかる。
君は何も知らないし経験していないから、そんな無責任なことが言えるんだ。
That's what I'm saying.
いいえ、嫌というほど経験してきたわ。失敗も挫折も後悔も、その痛みもマキセ・クリスという天才のせいで。
Yeah, and also finding out that you're the cause of your lover's death. I don't know why I keep fucking tripping on my words today. This sucks. But yeah, it's like you're not the one who had to watch your best friend get like shot and run over by a train and turned into a jelly man over and over and over. And then whenever you finally thought that you could end it for good, you end up killing the person you love with your own 2 fucking hands. Like, no. He's not saying this because he's butthurt about not getting it right. He's saying this because he went through actual hell.
数式に感情はないだろう。
数式を解くのは人間よ。結局のところね。
We were glaring at each other, our faces close enough to kiss. Maho's gaze burned into me. Turning your best friend into the jelly jiggler sounds a lot funnier than reality. Exactly, like not... Most people would have completely fallen apart by now. If they had gone through what Okabe went through. Like, no, he's being reasonable here, to be honest. He's like, Maho, please, for the love of God, do not create the Torment Nexus. And Maho's like, but what if the Torment Nexus helps humanity? Maho's gaze burned into me. For some reason, I couldn't bear to look at her. So I turned away. I turned around without saying a word and tried to head out the door. But she grabbed the hem of my shirt and stopped me. I didn't expect that.
まだ何か用か。
I turned around, annoyed. Okabe is strong as fuck because he still tried to move on and live a normal life despite all that happening. Exactly! Man is pretty much a cosmic horror story protagonist at this point. Like, the only thing missing is the fucking Elder Gods. A moment ago, her expression had been so fierce, but now she simply wore a sad smile. It was so different that for a moment I thought I'd jumped world lines. The Elder Gods is you, the Watcher. Oh, fuck. Maho whispered to me.
あなたこそ嘘が下手ね。
嘘。
Was I lying? I put my hands up to my face, trying to figure out what she meant. But that didn't tell me what kind of look I had on my face, of course. So I simply stood there, confused.
嘘って。なんだ。俺は嘘なんてついてない。
橋田さんに聞いたんだけど、1年前のあなたってタイムマシンに関しては取り付く島もなかったんですってね。
Maho's reminding me of that inventor from Kingdom Hearts. I don't know which one you're talking about. See, this is the downside of only consuming Kingdom Hearts content with a bottle of wine. Oh, man.
シュタインズゲートの話なんてそれこそ論外。口にするのもはばかられるほどだったって。
一体何を言って。
でも今は違うわ。だってあなたのその顔、私が以前よくしていた顔と同じだもの。 クリスに実証実験で負けて、論文の評価でも負けて、名声でも負け続けて、落ち込んでもうダメだって思って。けどいつも最後は鏡を見て自分を叱りつけたのよ。
Maho pointed to her own heart with her index finger.
挑戦するのを諦めたら終わり。そうしたら永遠に勝つことはできないってね。
Then she pointed it at my left breast.
今のあなたはその時の私と同じ顔よ。心の奥の奥ではまだリベンジする気でいる。自分をこんな惨めな男へと貶めたシュタインズゲートに。
Me? I still hadn't given up?
違う、そんなことはない。
違わないわ。あなたってね、ほんと私にそっくり。まるで胸像みたい。強情で一度言い出したら聞かなくて、自分が間違ったと分かってもそれを絶対に認めたくなくて子供みたいに拗ねて、誰かに心配や迷惑ばかりかける。で、そんなことないよとか少しくらいはフォローしてもらえないとちょっと傷つくわね。
I mean, you're the one who said it.
けどね、だからこそわかるのよ。私もあなたも最後は絶対に自分の足で立ち上がるの。そうでしょ、岡部倫太郎さん。もう一度言うわ。あらゆる世界の摂理はただの数式であり、その解放は必ず存在する。私は何としても見つけてやるわ。神なんて介在しない、ただの数式を解く鍵を。そうしてマユリさんが死なない、クリスも生きている狭間の世界線に続く道へとたどり着いてやる。
After saying all that, Maho was a little out of breath. She had a lot of vitality in her tiny body. Her words, the way she looked, they hit me so hard I couldn't speak.
で、あなたはどうするの？岡部所長、ここはあなたのラボなのでしょ？いつまでも所長不在では話にならないのだけれど。
俺は
And then I got a Ryan message. Just a second, I'm just gonna make sure that this doesn't do anything to the ending. Okay, it doesn't. Okay. Hi, Ming Fan Zhang? Welcome to the stream. I don't think I've seen you here before. Big trouble. What do I do? Mayuri, I just happened to pass by her, and she was running away crying. I've never seen her so sad. Huh. That's weird. Last timeline, she was crying because Maho confronted her. But, like, what could have happened this time? Mayuri was crying? I could tell that something bad was going on. When she saw my shock, Maho looked over at the phone, too. She was crying. What happened? I don't know. I just happened to run into her, so I said hi, and she was crying. I was really surprised when I asked what was going on. She was really upset. She said it was her fault Kurisu had died, and that's why you were suffering. She said she should have died instead. Oh, did Mayuri try to come to the lab while this was all happening? Fuck. Alright, that's not great. I ran after her, but I lost her. What do I do, Okabe? What do I do?
だって
I looked at Maho.
まさか聞かれてたのか、今の話。
Yeah, I think she did.
そういえば
Daru had come out of the shower room at some point and was standing right behind me.
オカリンが
Maho does have two levels of eyebrow, I think.
マヨシだ。マヨシもここに向かってる途中だって言ってた。
Oh, I thought that 100th Assassin was just talking about, like, from different angles, her eyebrows kind of look different. If you meant the eye creases, then yeah, that is something different. Then that meant there was a good chance she did.
そんな。
I felt like my knees were going to give out. Mayuri existed in this world line because of Kurisu's sacrifice, and that was the one thing that Mayuri could never find out. Me, Daru, Suzuha, Faris, Maho, everyone who knew the truth had kept it from her. I needed to find her. I needed to find Mayuri. I couldn't let her be alone right now. I ran out of the lab. Alright, well, we're going to have to pick up with Suzuha next time. I'm running out of saves. I've only got one page left. I'm gonna have to start, like, fucking overwriting some of these. I didn't expect that we would use up this entire 6 pages of saves. Alright. What? Whoa, wait. That was loading. Okay, we're fine.
まだ暑いな。
I think we're good? Yeah, okay, we're fine. We're fine. I don't even think I used that many. I mean, it's because I keep saving after every stream that I do, and it's not like a ton of stuff is happening. Or, it's not that not a ton of stuff is happening, it's just that I keep going back over scenes that I've already gone through. And also, it doesn't help that I keep going on hiatuses and then also having to do shorter stream lengths because of work. Someday I'll finally have a schedule, like a life schedule, that allows me a little bit more time for streaming. That time is not now, unfortunately. Especially not with work being as busy as it is right now, because, oh my god. There are times where it's like, oh, normal day, and we have enough samples and I'm gonna be here till after 5. Okay, cool! I don't really mind it, to be honest. Mostly because I don't have to stay as late at this job as I have at some jobs in the past. Like, I worked somewhere in 2021 where I was working, I want to say 60-hour work weeks. That was back around the time that I was playing Amori. Oh, gosh. I have to stop playing with my earbuds whenever I have a glass of water right nearby. I always hit it. Yeah, it was bad. I was working from home at the time, which kind of helped because at least I didn't have a commute. Because, to be fair, I have also done, like, 12-hour days where I had, like, an hour commute, like, both to and from. That was hell. I don't know how that didn't kill me. But, yeah, it's like, for pretty much 9 months straight in 2021, my life during the weekdays was wake up at 8:45, log into work at 9 o'clock, log out of work at 9 o'clock at night, eat, take a shower, text my family, go to bed. That for 9 months. And the worst part is, it was like right after I had started streaming, because I thought like, oh hey, like my work is going a little bit easier now, like it's going a bit smoother, I'm gonna have time to stream, and then fucking immediately it did, and thus the new you was born, more strong than the previous iteration. I mean, it is true. It did actually kind of help my self-esteem whenever it's like, oh, I got through that. Like, it was hell and it sucked. I will say, working that much during 2021 is the main reason why this story isn't finished, because I burnt out so fucking hard that I also burnt out on, like, creative stuff too. Actually, I'm not gonna get too deep into it because it's like, I don't want to give the wrong impression, but I know that, October of that year, I was still doing those 12-hour days, and actually there were some days where I had to work for even longer. I know there was one day, I remember, I started work at 9, I did not log out until almost 1 in the morning the next day. It was rough. But in October of that year, 8 months into 9 months of that cycle of the wake up at almost 9, log into work at 9, log off from work at 9, at around the 8-month mark of that, I had learned of this writing challenge that was going on at the time. And it was just a small one. It was run by, like, only, like, 1 or 2 people, I think. And the whole idea was just like, oh, hey, we're gonna, like, share each other's writing and, like, support each other's OCs and stuff. And I was like, you know what? I want to get back into my story. I want more people to know about my characters. So I am just gonna, I'm gonna start writing for this, and it's gonna be cool. It's gonna be good. So I was trying to write, like, a whole piece every single day on top of that work cycle. And not only did it contribute to the burnout, my stories never ended up getting shared by the people running it, and it turns out after the fact, like, I read through the rules again, and there was a thing that was just straight up saying, yeah, if your story is too dark, we're just not gonna have anything to do with it. And I was like, are you fucking kidding me? I had written, like, about 6 or 7 things for that challenge by the time I figured that out. So yeah, that put me in such a bad, like, funk with my writing that for about a year, I just couldn't touch it because I had gotten so burnt out from my last job that it was also just hard for me to be productive, like, at all. And then on top of that, I was like, oh, my story might be too dark for anybody to even enjoy. Okay then, that fucking sucks. Okay. Just, yeah, it was, and it's like, I don't blame the people who ran the thing, because they did make it clear in the rules, I just didn't fucking read them, apparently. Like, I was already just, like, so tired from everything that I think I just didn't read the rules properly, and it's like, I didn't realize that they were trying to focus more on, like, slice of life stuff, basically. So that was my bad. That was my bad, but also, like, the experience of just having that happen after working so fucking hard was, like, that, it was just demoralizing. And actually is what kind of spurred me to the last 2 years of trying to figure out the story, and then that didn't work out, and it's like, okay, go back to the old version. I'm just rambling at this point, because I've been thinking about writing a lot, and I've been thinking about, like, just overall my plans for what I want to do with it, because it's like, I'm never going to be able to do this as, like, a full-time thing. And it's trying to figure out, first off, how to write scripts, because all the writing advice I've seen for all this time has been, oh hey, here's how you write a good novel. And, that doesn't help in a lot of cases. And it's like, whenever I would look up specifically, like, how to write visual novels, it would always be like, okay, well, you have to structure it in this way for these routes, and it's like, at the time, I'm like, this isn't really a route-based story. And it just, like, it'd be like, oh, well, you structure it in this way because then the coding goes this way, and it's like, I don't care about the coding at this point. I need to know how to lay this shit out. Anyways. All stories are route-based. Yeah, I guess you could say that. It's just, like, you're seeing one route out of the potential, you know, like, maybe a dozen, if it had been a VN. linear route. Yeah, definitely different type of story. Exactly. It's like, the one that I'm working on right now, it is still gonna be a linear route, but it's gonna be sort of like... I mean, I don't know how deep I want to get into it. Basically the idea is, like, it's a linear route, but you can, like, make choices and see different scenes during the story that can kind of influence how different characters behave in certain key points. So it's like, I guess technically there would be multiple routes, but it wouldn't be as straightforward as, oh, you hung out with this character, like, 3 times during the start of the game. Congratulations, now you are locked on this character's route and this character's route alone for the rest of the game. But yeah, at this point, I don't... I'm just realizing this probably isn't very entertaining to listen to. It's just me, like, vague posting about a story that none of you guys know about. This is like, there's that fucking, 4chan post of the guy who's like, I keep referencing my absurdist novella that hasn't even come out yet, and I keep saying, like, oh, this is such a Jerry Berrycorn moment. And Jerry Berrycorn is, like, the guy in my absurdist novella who wakes up with a doorknob stuck to the back of his head. You know, it's not the story about making the reader select a choice that says the exact same thing and adds nothing of value. People love that in VNs. No, I can't do that. I will say, the VN idea... This is Jerry Berrycorn. Sounds very Kafka-esque. I need to find the original post, because I think about it often. Yeah, it's... I found the post! Definitely. 11% of my personality is making literary references nobody gets. This is why I make literary references to my own literature, which remains unpublished. When somebody does something outrageously stupid, I say, wow, you're really pulling a Gregory Berrycorn there. Berrycone there. I wait for somebody to ask who Gregory Berrycone is, and then explain that he is a minor character in my absurdist novella, untitled right now, about a man who wakes up one morning with a mysterious plastic knob on the back of his head. I found this posted to r/I am very smart. Oh god! I just realized! 'Cause I was just thinking, like, oh man, like, I meant to share something at the end of last stream, too. So I'm gonna find, because I was talking last stream about this video that I found where it's the drill sergeant in Fallout 2 yelling at like a low intelligence chosen one about losing their fucking power armor. But they replace it with that cat that's eating the crunchy food. I'm explaining it so fucking badly. Where is it? I hate that I name things so stupidly. Okay, I found it. Alright. I don't know how loud this is gonna be. So, this is just a fun little bonus for today. I hope it's not too loud. Here we go.
Welcome to Camp Navarro.
Oh no, that's... Just a second.
Welcome to Camp
Just a second.
Navarro.
I gotta...
So you're the new replacement. You are out of uniform, soldier! Where is your power armor? Don't have any? You expect me to believe that, maggot? The truth is, you lost an expensive piece of Army-issue equipment. That suit is going to come out of your pay, and you will remain in this man's army until you are 510 years old, which is the number of years it will take for you to pay for a Mark II powered combat armor you have lost. Report to the armory and have a new suit issued to you. Then report back to me, Private. Dismissed.
That video is so fucking good. I couldn't even hear it, but in, like, just reading the dialogue, I could hear it in my head. Anyways, I wanted to show that video at the end of last stream. Completely slipped my mind. I remembered this time, though. But yeah, so enough of my dumbass rambling. It's after 9. I've got to get going. I got to get ready for work tomorrow. So let me just get into the usual end of stream stuff. So if you're new around here and you like what you saw, despite me being, like, still half asleep from a nap whenever I started stream, If you somehow liked what you saw, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell, you'll be notified whenever I go live. If you got any 2,000 word scenes that need proofreading, you know who to call. Noted. Also, I know it says Twitter. I don't really use Twitter anymore. You can follow me instead on Blue Sky, and there you can see if I'm going to be late for whatever reason, if I need to cancel stream for whatever reason, if I am streaming with a VTubing buddy who's over on Twitch or over on another channel and I'm not streaming my side, I'll post the announcements there. And also sometimes I just post like random thoughts that I have. On Friday, Vesta ate a little bit of a Popeye's biscuit and then immediately almost stuck her whole face into my root beer. That's chronicled on there. And yeah, so I will say I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to stream next weekend. I'm going out of town for some family stuff. I'm visiting my parents for Mother's Day. But it's looking like I'm gonna be coming home on Sunday. I just don't know when on Sunday. So I may not get back in time to stream. In that case, what can you do? But if I am back early enough, I'll do my best. I'll do my best to go live, either with more of this or with more Disco Elysium with my good friend Valerie Valkyrie. Casual streamer can't stream. Unacceptable. I know. Just fucking shoot me dead now. Take me out back and shoot me like a lame horse. Oh, well. I mean, it wouldn't be the longest hiatus I've ever done. Let's be real. But hopefully, I mean, the goal now is to just stream at least once a week. Like, that's what it's come down to now. It's like, I just want to be able to stream consistently once a week. And then once winter comes, I'll go back to streaming on Wednesdays too. But at the moment, that ain't fucking happening. My work days are too hectic at the moment. Anyways, enough talk about me. You guys go look after yourselves. Have great nights. Have some sweet dreams. Drink some water because I keep forgetting to do this. And it's becoming a problem. Anyways, have a good night, everyone. I'll see you next time. Bye!